Look both ways when you cross the street. Keep a steady line and keep your feet straight, and everything will fall in line. Yeah, I've heard that lie too. But what you gonna do when the devil comes looking for you?
Yeah. We're
What's
not.
up?
What up, guys? This ain't live, just so you know. I'm recording it and then I'll upload it later.
Yeah, that's cool.
But today we got a special. This is episode 40, so you're on the. This is a special episode. You could introduce yourself if you want, and you don't have to say your name if you don't want to.
My name is David Polark. I'm a professional asshole. That's what I do.
Yeah, that's what he does for a living. But yeah, we work together. I'm not gonna say where we work, but you got some stories, man.
Yes, actually, I feel like I really do have some stories. Some people told me that my life could be a movie, but
yeah, I was telling you should do a podcast. Just make because you could talk for days.
Yeah, that's probably true. I feel like my life has been like the Joker movie mixed with like, I don't know, Saving Private Ryan or some shit.
Damn, that's a crazy mix.
I don't even know really where to begin. Like,
I know I was thinking, like, I don't even know. You told me so many crazy stories. I don't even know where to start.
Yeah, it all depends on like what type of story you want. Do you want like a sad story?
We love
hilarious.
We love sad shit on this channel. We're all depressed.
Oh, okay.
We like the dark shit.
All right, so here you go. So this is literally my story. So my mom got knocked up with me when she was 17 by my father, who was a Vietnam vet. He grew up right next door to her. Like, he lived at 1528 North Street, and she lived at 1530 North Street. And they grew up together. But he was.
How do you know that?
It's all history. And plus, that was my grandmother's house.
All right. It stayed in the family. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Right. Until finally, as she got older, she sold the house. And, of course, his family sold the house and moved away. And now the person that bought the house from my grandmother had bought both houses and combined them into one. It's a really nice setup.
Oh, so they were next to each other.
Yeah, like literally right next to each other.
Would they rip the wall out and shit and just make it one? Whoa, that's nice.
Yeah. Like the house I live in right now is an open floor plan. So it's a 3-story house, but there's no rooms. There's just like the first floor is one room. The second floor is one room. The third floor is one big room. Yeah, it's an open floor plan. So like
I never heard of that.
Well, yeah, that's how an open floor plan works. There's really no individual rooms. Sometimes I feel like you mostly see that in lofts and loft style apartments.
Yeah. So
where I live in Fishtown, that's kind of rare.
Fishtown's popping. I heard it came up. Like, it used to be kind of like shitty.
Yeah, Fishtown used to be like this working class neighborhood. But now this shit is like upper middle class. It's ridiculous. You start looking at some of the apartments and things that they've built around here, some of the properties. You know, the next little street down from me, which is I think Cree Street.
Yeah,
they're selling a house there for $550K.
Damn.
And the house I live in is valued at I think $375 right now.
Oh shit, so, that's pretty good.
Yeah. That's just how it is in Fishtown. It's, the city just came out with new assessments, the new property assessments, without raising taxes, but they're going to get way more money because they evaluated everybody's property at a much higher level.
I think you were telling me that or something about that.
Yeah. So you're talking about like a 30% increase in value. So without raising the percentage of taxes, the city of Philadelphia is just printing their own money right now.
That's crazy. How's like the
Fishtown is hot.
Is it like it's a good bar area? Like that's the new South Street, right?
Yeah, bro. You gotta come hang out. You gotta come hang out on Frankfurt Avenue. There's so many little bars. You can do a bar crawl in like 2 or 3 blocks and be trashed.
Oh, really? Shit. Yeah, I never. I
You've
never
been going to
drank
many
around
of-
there. Yeah. I don't remember
so you-
what for, but it's been
No,
a
I'm saying,
while.
did you ever go up there to hang out and drink?
No.
Oh man, I went up there for a bar crawl for my birthday about 5, 6 years ago. That was lovely.
Good time. Yeah, I got to go there because when I was a kid, we would go to South Street, but South Street's dead now. It's like you go there if you want to get shot.
That shit is scary down there now, man. And see, here's the thing: everything in the city is a cycle. I'm old enough to remember when South Street was sketchy as fuck back in the '80s, right? And you had the Bain Bridge projects down there, or no, it wasn't Bain Bridge. There was a. Try to remember what's the street that's south of South Street, the very next block.
It might be Banbridge.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, it is Banbridge. So they used to have projects, housing projects, and there were two towers up there at I want to say 12th and Bainbridge to 13th and Bainbridge,
Yeah.
just south of Broad Street or east of Broad Street, and that neighborhood was rough, bro.
Yeah, I don't remember it. I remember. Well, that was before my time. When I was a kid, it was all punk rockers and shit. Like that's where all the freaks went.
Yeah,
That's
once South Street started popping and started really coming up, and the property value in Queens Village started coming up, like you can look at where the original project towers used to be in the city of Philadelphia,
Yeah.
and start seeing how the city started tearing down each one as the real estate value started rising. And
Like where is the projects nowadays? Is there a really bad
you
neighborhood
still have
besides
you
Kensington?
still have the ones on 46 in Market. Kensington, bro, listen, Kensington is not even a project. I swear to God,
It's like it's
I've
I
been to
don't
Iraq twice. And Kensington is literally a third world country where you should just wall that shit off and let it burn. It's like Afghanistan. I've never been to Afghanistan, but the second time
I know
went to Iraq, I went with this unit called 2-4 Infantry, and they had just came back from Afghanistan, and they had their dwell time cut from 12 months in the United States to just 6 months in the United States, and then they got sent right back to Iraq. So I met them in country because I was coming
What's
back. What's
dwell time?
All right, so this started during like the second Gulf War. So we were in war in Afghanistan. We were in war in Iraq. We were trying to quell some uprisings like in Djibouti, Africa, and keep not ISIS, trying to keep Al Qaeda from moving in there. And then we were fighting a secret war in the Philippines against Al Qaeda. So everybody was spread thin. So there was this deal of you would get deployed for a year, and then you would, or to 18 months, and then you would come back stateside and stay in the United States or your home duty station, because you could be stationed in, say, like Germany or Italy or even Japan or someplace. But you would get 1 year dwell time wherever your home duty station was before they could deploy you again, unless you waived it or it was waived by a high enough authority.
All right, I get it.
Right.
Damn.
Yeah. So, listening to my old unit talk about what it was like being in Afghanistan and then comparing it to some of the places I've seen in Iraq, like Kensington looks as fucking ran down as Solder City.
How does it get to be like that? Like why is that one area so bad? Like why don't you would think like all the crackheads and shit would travel throughout the city? Why do they stay there? Like you know what? Like
effect.
how did it originate?
The butterfly effect. So,
Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah, fantastic movie. With,
Bro, I love that fucking movie. I didn't
song
even
by Stained that they had as the cover song for the movie. It's been
Outside.
a while.
Oh, is that in there?
Yeah. It's been a while. That song. Woo,
It's been a while. I love Stain.
yeah,
Fun
I
fact.
love Stained too, bro. But
I grew up with
Kensington
them.
got to be the way it was because it was never really, you know. I got into an argument with this older white woman that had lived in the area,
Yeah.
and like so. Kensington has always been a special place in Philadelphia. You can go
Before
back.
we continue, because a lot of my viewers are probably like, "What the fuck's Kensington?" Can you tell them?
No, bro. Kensington people.
Well, these people are from Italy and shit, so they explain it to them.
No. Seriously, people in India and China were using Kensington as an example for not doing drugs. Like
Oh, are you
Kensington is
serious?
globally known now. Not everybody knows Kensington, but Kensington
I
is
didn't know
such a
that.
problem that people all over are starting to know about Kensington. Literally.
Yeah.
But so
They got
Kensington,
YouTube channels, people just going around filming all the junkies.
yeah,
It's sad, really.
yeah, and I'm telling you, out of every country I've ever been to, I've made it a point to go to their so-called rough neighborhood, little ghetto.
Dave loves looking for
nothing like
trouble.
it. Yeah, bro. Listen. I swear to God, I would.
We
I swear
we
to
got to
God.
get back to I'm sorry, continue the Kensington thing, and then I want to get back to what you were saying when you were a kid and shit.
Okay, yeah. So we'll talk about Kensington for a minute. So Kensington was never really that nice of a neighborhood. It was what's known as a working class neighborhood. A lot of these people had blue collar jobs, factory workers. You know, it was far away from the center of the city, and it was just this working class neighborhood. And there used to be just nothing but factories and stuff down there. You know, a lot of those people were longshoremen, and back at that time, it was like day shore workers. So you could be like a quote unquote gig worker, or what a gig worker is today would be what you were back then and there. So you might have been a longshoreman, and you didn't really have a set job. You would just go down to the shore and pick up work. So it just was never really a wealthy neighborhood. And then what happened was, we're going to fast forward to years ago when we had Michael Nutter, which was the last mayor before.
I remember Nutter.
So if you think about the Rocky movie, and you see where Rocky, in Rocky 1, where he's jogging through different parts of Philadelphia, and there's this part where he's over this bridge, which is overlooking a rail yard. There's like rail cars. Well,
I know exactly what you're talking about. I saw that movie 100 times.
Right. So that's like the Conrail yard, and that was what was Zombie Land. And so my sister's a police officer, so she could tell you some stories about this stuff too. But if you talk to any of the cops, in the city that knew Zombie Land, or you talk to anybody who lived in the neighborhood, this is where all of the meth heads and the heroin addicts were concentrated at. Crackheads, that's like a whole different thing, and like they literally don't bang or mix because the high causes them to do two different things and act in two completely different ways.
Oh,
So
they
drug
collide
addicts,
with each other.
Right. So crackheads, like they don't sleep, they're zombied out, and when they finally do crash, they crash for days at a time. I had uncle on my father's side and an aunt on my mother's side who were addicted to crack, and watching them go through this shit, it was like, yeah. But staying with Kensington, so what happened was, it was literally like a third world country no-go zone, but it was nice and contained all in the rail yard. But it was so bad that when somebody OD'd, and this is before the cops started having Narcan, where all the cops and all the paramedics had Narcan.
Yeah, they carry it around with them.
Right. But that's a whole nother story right there, because that's how they ended up getting that. Is they got federal funding from the Justice Department for that, which whatever, butterfly effect again.
Damn, that's crazy, dude. Real quick, I've been to parties. Well, one time I went to this one party and they were handing out Narcan like a party favor. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
dude, I was like, what the fuck? I'm used to just drinking.
Yeah, I can see why that would be the case, because when you go to parties or raves or wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, there's going to be stuff that's going to be passed around.
Yeah, and this was one of them real punk rock parties, like crust those people that live on the street and shit. You know what I'm talking about.
Right. Yeah.
You.
So for my community, it would be like people that live in bandies. I don't know if you ever heard that term, but bandies is short for abandoned house. Yeah,
I know what you mean.
Over here. So
don't they call them crack houses?
No,
not really.
It's called it a crack house.
Yeah, I'm old school.
It's called a crack house. The South, they started calling them trap houses, and then that terminology just kind of stuck, and everybody started calling them trap houses.
All
That's why you
right.
might
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that term, trap heels.
that's why you might see
Definitely.
them chicks with the shirts on that says trap queen and things like that. I mean, that's a whole different subculture right there. You know, basically, if you're a chick going to a trap house, you're either going there because you're an addict of some type, or you going there to get ran through. You know,
Yeah,
there's only
you're
nothing good goes.
prostituting. You
Not
ain't
even the
watching the Golden
prostitute. You might be
Girls.
doing it for free. You might be doing it so you can get ran through by the homies.
Yeah,
And I
true.
got stories for days. I can tell
You
you.
ain't.
We used to call them party chicks when I was younger, man. My
Damn.
brother would go, and sometimes my cousin, we would go hunt down party chicks. And
Oh,
the party
would you go to bars and shit?
Nah, man. Me and my brother would just hop in his Explorer and drive around North Philly in the summertime. And
Oh
we would
yeah.
just
Were they actual prostitutes or just girls? Like,
no, no, not even prostitutes. Listen to what I'm saying. Party chicks. These chicks, all they need you to do is give them some weed, give them some liquor, and
they just want something. Yeah,
yeah,
I know what you're
and they're
saying.
just trying to hang out and have a good time. And this is why I don't knock chicks for doing the things that they do, because when you think about it, if me and my brother are out there looking for these types of chicks,
Yeah.
that doesn't make us any better than them. So we were looking.
Yeah.
We were, so,
I hate these hoes. You'll be. Yeah.
we're up there
You're,
by Huntington. We're up there by the Huntington Park section of the city. We're just driving around in this Explorer, and we pull up on this chick. She's sitting on her porch and she's smoking and she's drinking a beer, right? And it wasn't like the neighborhood really wasn't that ran down, but it was North Philly back in, I want to say, the early 2000s. I think this,
All right.
this incident probably happened in like '03 because I was in the Army at this time. So anyway, we drive up and we stop. And my brother rolls down the window. He's driving. I'm in the passenger side.
are you younger than
It's-
him?
No. So if you would have let me finish the first story about
All right,
my
we'll get
father,
back
you
to
would
that
have
one.
said
Right
Me and
after
my
this one,
brother-
we'll get back to that one.
Okay. Me and my brother are the same age. Swear to God, we're the same age, but I'm older than him by 4 months. So that shows you that my father was a man whore.
Oh shit.
So yeah, so it's two different moms, same father, and we're only separated by 4 months of age. So back to the chick. So my brother rolls down the window, and she looks at us, and he asks her just one question. He's like, "So what are you getting into tonight?" And she just looks at us and says, "Trouble." And
Oh,
I'm like,
shit.
"Well, get in." I didn't even I didn't even let my brother say anything else. I just told her get in.
Get in.
So
I'll show you
That's it.
trouble.
and like I said, I was visiting my family and visiting my brother,
Yeah.
who at the time he used to be in the Army too. And we were stationed at the same shitty ass base. Fort Polk.
You don't see each other when you were. I was gonna say, were you in there at the same time?
Nah, we were in there at two different times. Literally every person who served in the Army in my family, so my father, my aunt, my brother, and myself, all got stationed at Fort Polk at some point in time during our careers because the Army hates
Damn.
us. But
Oh,
yeah,
you don't know that before joining.
So if you join, sometimes you can pick your duty station depending on, like, say, what you scored on your ASVAB, and then what you chose as your MOS. But I wanted to be combat arms. I wanted to be infantry because, I don't know, I was stupid. Even though I scored high on my ASVAB, I could have did, like, a lot of different things.
Yeah. Were you pressured? Did you feel pressure to join because like all your family was in?
No, nobody in my family pressured me to join. I joined the Army because my daughter's mom, which I could write a whole book about that, like, they're just that whole thing right there. This, she's why I got a vasectomy. She's why I never had any more kids. She's literally why I moved out of the city. Then she's literally one of the main reasons why I joined the Army. Like, get as far away from her as possible. Why I
Damn.
volunteered to go to Iraq. Everything. That's. Oh man.
Do you still talk to her or nah?
Oh yeah, we're on good terms now. But then, no.
Yeah, it's
Ooh.
weird when you look back. You're like, God damn, we were nuts.
Yeah. I got charged with some pretty serious felonies
Really?
dealing with her, and I had to go to trial for it, and I had to appear in court 3 different times, and on the third time they let me go because there were no witnesses. So, because this is how bad it was. Where I lived at in North Philly, Ram
Yeah.
Squad came and busted into my house, and then they went in my neighbor's house right next door, and they were looking for me heavy. And they didn't know that I was at my girlfriend's house in West Philadelphia, so I had to call Central Detectives, which is down there in like the Franklintown section, down there by community college, and I had to negotiate with
Your
these
phone's
detectives.
falling. Did they?
I had
You
to
knew they were looking for
detectives.
you?
Yeah, bro, they were looking for me, and when Ram Squad comes looking for you,
Were you
it's
hiding
pretty bad.
purposely?
Oh, I knew they were gonna come because of everything that happened. I was like, yeah, time not to be at this address.
Oh
So
shit, dude.
I stayed out West Philly for a couple of days, and I turned myself in on Monday because when I knew Ram Squad was coming for me, it was Friday. So you can't make bail from the county on Friday, and I knew, I was basically going to the county, so I had to get some money
Yeah.
together, and I'm like, listen, bail me out, blah blah blah, and then I had to go. Uh, so I had to go turn myself in, and I gave a statement and all this. But I knew because I didn't have a lawyer present, I can always fight the statement later and say you were coerced or whatever. And I just was doing whatever so I could get through the process of getting, I was at the Roundhouse at the time. I had to do video court with a judge. And, it said bail and all that, blah, 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 blah. I was just trying to get to the bail phase so I could get the fuck out of there. So I was
Yeah.
like,
Could we
man,
cut all these fucking corners? I just want to get to the point. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
that was back in 1998. That's why
Damn,
right
98.
after
I was
right
watching.
after I beat that case in the fall, I left. I left the city and didn't come. I didn't come back until
That's
I,
when you joined.
yeah. No. That's when I left the city, and I didn't come back until after I left the army. So I was gone from 1998 to 2012.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yep, and I almost didn't come back. If it wouldn't have been for my daughter being here in Pennsylvania and being in high school, I would have just stayed in Korea like my friend Colson did. I wouldn't have came back. Fuck
Was
this
it
shit.
weird living there? Like a big change? Did you miss shitty streets of Philly?
I miss the food. Like the food in Philadelphia, I don't think Philadelphians fully understand like how good the food is in this city at times,
Really?
especially if you know where you're going. You know, there's this burrito joint at it's like this little shitty ghost kitchen restaurant down there at 8th and Jackson that makes these burritos.
They're
That shit is
banging.
hopping.
Dude, how come it seems like it's always like the little shitty shack that looks like a hole in the wall that has the best food?
Because that's how it is. There's a dude on YouTube that's like that, where he says, the shittier the place looks, the better the food is. And it was like this
That's
Jamaican
true.
place in the hood, and like the building's all fucked up on the outside, the side's fucked up. But oh my god,
Yeah,
that
it's like-
jerk chicken they had. Whoo, looking at it through the screen, and it like they had it in this platter, and the platter was just overstuffed with rice and chicken and I think cabbage or something. It was so good looking. I was like, I wanted to go, and I mean, I've seen that wherever I've been. Like I was going to this army school called MLOC at Fort Benning, and it's I think it was a 5-week course, and me and my friend Jared Evans, who at the time was like my best friend in the army, we went together at the same time, and his uncle was a dean at Auburn University, so we spent a lot of time just going out and chilling when we weren't in class all day.
Yeah.
And we went to this barbecue shack, like I'm a shack in the sticks of Georgia somewhere,
Yeah.
the outskirts of Columbus, and I thought this place was gonna be shitty, and it was like the best barbecue I ever had.
I believe it.
Them chicks down there, like usually I'm not really into black chicks, but the chicks in Georgia, like
How come you don't like black? How come you don't like black girls? That's the one thing I don't get. Did you hear me?
My daughter's mom.
We're going all.
She'll
My
tell you.
podcasts go all over the place.
My daughter's mom. I'm just telling you, like, I love my daughter Wajia to death, and she's like the sweetest person. She's everything that I'm not. She's like
Yeah.
the nicest person you'll ever meet in life. There's still some me in her, but it takes everything to come out of her. Like
Yeah.
everything. Like you'd have to do some like pretty horrible stuff to have even 1% of me come out of her. And yeah, it is her mom. Her mom and everything that happened. I could tell you how the child support system in Pennsylvania used to work, and that was hot garbage. So that, and like I said, just so many things that I could like literally write a book about it. But I'm gonna just tell you this one thing, and you're gonna understand how fucked up it was. So
Alright.
when my daughter was born, right back in '97. So when you look at how child support worked back then, right? It was automatic if the person was on welfare. And what they tell you, because from day one, I did, whatever I could and gave money or whatever I could. But here's how it went. Because her mom was on welfare for public assistance medical,
Yeah.
they automatically are going to take you to court for child support. So, because the state, that's how they recoup their money. So what happens is, so her birthday is November 21st. So by the time the case was heard, it was like my daughter was probably almost 2.
Damn.
So what they do is they assign whatever your child support is going to be, but then they make it retroactive back to the child's birth. So if you
So it's like back pay.
yeah, it's called
What
arrears.
the fuck?
Yeah. Oh, but listen, it gets worse. And
What
we're
if
gonna
she was
stay
like
on this.
5? You would be like,
Yeah.
take my life.
You would have to pay you would have to pay 5 years of arrears. And
It's not like
but
that
it-
no more, though, right?
no, but that's not even the worst part. You gotta
I'm
listen to
listening.
the
I'm
whole
listening.
story. It's
I'm
crazy.
listening.
So then let's say if the child's 2, you got to pay 2 years of arrears back to the child's birth. So you're instantly, thousands of dollars in debt. So they're going to garnish your wages. They're not going to be, just make sure you send this check every month to blah, 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 whatever, family court. No, they're going to garnish your wages. So it's going to be whatever the child support order is, plus whatever they decide to charge you for arrears. So if your child support order was say for $300 and they decide to charge you $85 in arrears every month, you're paying $385 every month.
Damn.
So off the top. So it doesn't matter what you pay in taxes, doesn't matter what your rent is, doesn't matter. None of that matters. Just think of it like FICA. You're going to pay this money, or else they're going to issue a warrant for your arrest. So,
Dude, I would be like, just take me now. You might as well.
yeah, I mean, you get people that literally say that. And where family court used to be on 11th Street, which I want to say was 11th and Filbert, because it's the street in between Market and Chestnut Street. And when I say this place had heavy security, you had to go to, because I literally plotted a Palestinian terrorist attack on this place. Like, I was going to go in there, I was going to kill everybody, and I was going to die in a shootout with the police. Like, you think,
Bro.
so people listening to this might think that's pretty extreme, but that's not even like the violence that I seen in this place. Dudes like snapping all the way the fuck out. I was on the and at the point, so you go in there, right? And once you made it through security, which was tight, they had armed guards at the exits of each elevator on each floor. And this one dude, he was in there, and I think they hit him up for like $750 a month plus the arrears.
Jesus
retroactive.
Christ.
So, because this dude had like a nice job, and yeah, he fucking lost it coming off that elevator.
Wow.
He fucking lost it.
Does
And,
it
he
does
was trying to
it
get
matter
the guy-
what you make though? Say if you don't make that much, does the
it doesn't.
it don't go by percentage in that way? You know what I mean?
Oh, no, that's where it gets even worse. So there's no cap on the amount of child support you can pay. It's a percentage of your income. So if you make $50,000 a year, right? They're gonna start child support at 20% of your income,
Ah,
which
dude, that's
that's
crazy.
right, that's like 10 grand. So you're gonna pay 10 grand a year in child support because
Yeah.
remember, even though you're paying taxes, that doesn't matter. It's off of whatever your gross income is, not your net. That's why those chicks. That's why the groupie chicks want to get pregnant by the athlete so bad because if you get pregnant by an athlete,
Oh,
right,
you're
it doesn't. Yeah, you set for life. It doesn't matter what you're, what they're paying in taxes. You're getting the percentage of their pay off of whatever their contract is, not what they take home. So if their contract is
Oh,
a $100 million
really?
contract, you're getting 20 million of that. And
I
this is
didn't
why
know
you have,
that. I thought it was.
yeah.
I didn't know it was based off their contract.
Listen, this is how serious it is.
I'm about to go
ESPN,
fucking sleep with LeBron.
yeah, bro. Listen,
He said, "Yeah, bro."
Gaga, Lady Gaga. I have a thing for Lady Gaga. Like
Lady
you
Gaga.
don't know Lady Gaga, man. If I could still have kids, I'd knock Gaga up right now. Just so yeah. Cause you know, you leave me, I'm taking the kid, and I'm getting paid. But no.
Getting all that money.
So back to the whole child support. This is where it was really really bad. So eventually, I left and went to State College, PA. Right, and I think when it all was said and done, I think I started off like something like 10K in arrears, something
Yeah.
like that. So
Jesus.
I got a when I went up there to State College, PA, and got a job. I got 2 jobs and started working both jobs to knock off these arrears. And when I say both jobs, I was working 90 hours a week at one point in time for about a good 2 years. 90 hours.
Is that like when you were telling me at work or something another time?
I don't know. I might have been, but the point is, I worked 6 days at one job and only had Sundays off. Or no, it might not even be Sundays. It might have been Saturdays because they had this weird. That's a different story, but shitty ass employers.
Yeah.
And the other job I worked 42 hours at. I did five normal shifts, and I came in. I did like a 2 or 3 hour shift unloading a truck once a week.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So I didn't sleep for shit, but it was what I had to do.
Yeah.
So and this is family court. This is how shady they fucking are. Because not only did I pay off all the arrears, right? So child support, or the state was charging me double the amount of child support I was supposed to pay because they were charging me the same thing from both jobs. So one job, when I was working there, before I got a full-time position, I was working there only part-time. So because they were charging me the same thing, I was getting checks because I got paid weekly. I was getting checks for like $10 and $15. Between $10 and $15. I'm working like 25, 30 hours a week there before I got a full-time position. So you talk about.
Wait, say that again. Your checks were how much?
Once they took the child support out, right? I was cashing a check that was like between $10 and $15 a week, and this was for months.
Bro.
Because listen, my daughter's mom knew exactly how to play the system. In order for me to change it, I had to come back and file a petition with the court. So I had to come all the way back to Philadelphia. Now remember, I worked 6 days a week at one job. I worked 5 days a week. It's really 6 because that day that I came and unloaded the truck, that was an off day. So, but I was only there for a few hours. So in order for me to come back and fight that and file a petition to get a court officer to hear it and a judge to sign off on a new court order,
Yeah.
I would have to come back to Philadelphia and I would have to request off work. So once I found out about the situation, now it's at least 2 weeks because you had to request off 2 weeks in advance. I had to get off from both jobs. I had to get on a Greyhound bus, come all the way back to Philadelphia. I had to stay with family overnight because there was no way I could do the hearing and then make the next bus back to State College, PA. So
Yeah.
I would literally have to be off for 3 days or 2.5 days and miss that much work just to deal with that problem. So then so here's where it just gets shitty. So because I missed the work, if I didn't pick up extra hours, well, then I wouldn't get a paycheck from the job where I was only getting like a $10 or $15 check because child support's going to take
That is
everything.
fucked up.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
how are you
So now
living? Like,
remember,
how are
I'm
you
paying-
buying shit? How are you living?
It's called ramen, bro. That shit was like 10 cents a pack. You know
What?
ramen.
Ramen?
And I walked everywhere. Like, bro, when I say I walked everywhere, you know. You
What's
can't have a car.
Robin? What do you mean
I
Robin?
listen, bro. This is how bad it was. At that point in time in my life, I'm working all those hours, and I was renting a room in a trailer park, renting
Damn.
a room. So that's how bad it was. You know, there was no, oh, you know, you're gonna, you know, be okay. You just have to work more hours. Nah, the family court system used to be hot garbage. So
Oh, I didn't
then-
know it was that bad.
Yeah. It like I said, it used to be horrible. So then here's the next thing. So before they used to, as like, I don't know, some type of proof of income to prove to the mother that you're working and blah 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 blah. They would let the mother of the child have access to your employer information. So my daughter's mom found out where I was working, and she would call my job and harass me.
Oh,
Like seriously. Like she
Dude,
called
you-
my job.
that's
I wanna
crossing the
say-
line.
Yeah, like literally trying to get me fired because you know you don't come to Philadelphia and see your daughter and blah 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 because you know now you got to be a full-time parent because you know you made the choices that you made, and now that I'm trying to get away from you and I'm all the way because her idea was I'm gonna make it so you have to come back to Philadelphia. I'll die before I come back.
Did
to
you ever
Philadelphia.
try to talk to her and say, "Can we leave the court out of it, and I'll send you money without like?" Because that's what I do with my
So
daughters.
nah, because you don't have the option because she's on public assistance,
Oh,
right? So as long as
But
you're on public assistance,
even
the
if she
court-
says like, "No, I don't. I don't want him to
right,
pay
they don't
child."
get a choice. The state wants to recoup their money. So because she was on public assistance for healthcare, you know, she was always going to be in the family court system. Even
That's
when I got out of the
crazy.
Army,
I never knew that.
it wasn't until I got out of the Army, and by this time she was long out of the public assistance system, because when I went in the Army, my daughter had health care through me, so her health care was outstanding.
Yeah.
And she, her mom did better for herself and finally started, making some positive changes. But so she was on this kick that she was going to somehow force me to come back to Philadelphia, and I was like, nah. You'll die before that happens. And
Did she want to get back with you, or she just wanted you here because your kid lives here?
It was a long. I don't even really know because I don't think she was like in this place in her mind where she. I don't want to say she was insane, but she's why I don't deal with black women. Period.
You think they're all crazy?
Between her and my mom. Like if you would just listen to me tell you I could have started with my mom and her getting knocked up with me at 17.
All right, let's go back to that story then.
Well, no. Let's finish the child support story.
All right,
We've been
all right,
over the
I'll
place.
shut
We
up.
still gotta
All
go
right,
back to Kensington too, and Mayor Nutter, and why? Because Mayor Nutter is why Kensington looks like it is now, and he wasn't even trying to, but it's why it happened. But back to the child support thing. So remember, I have to request off. I have to miss 3 days of work or 2.5 days of work. I have to travel back to Philadelphia, do a hearing. So the next thing is, so as you're paying down their arrears, they send you a receipt every month and tell you how much more money you have. So you're working hard as shit. You're trying to get out of this debt.
You're chipping away, yeah.
Every time this is because the federal government likes sticking their dick in shit too. So if you're in arrears, and this is, I think, for every state, if you're in child support arrears more than $500, when you file your taxes, your refund goes to her. So I didn't get a tax refund until I joined the Army. So there was never any relief.
Jesus Christ.
That was one of the reasons why, between working 2 jobs, that was one of the reasons why the arrears went down so fast. Because every time tax season came around, you think I'm going to get this nice return? Nah, all that money went straight to her. So she was going to get her tax return and then get my tax return and be living life. And then, this is how it was for all guys, at that time. So then,
So if you don't have a real good job, you're basically shit out of luck.
oh, it doesn't matter what type of job you have, because remember I said it starts at a percentage. So they start at 20%, and they can legally take up to 55% of your total income before tax.
That's fucking crazy.
So if you pay,
Well, I'm basically saying if you're like a brain surgeon, it'll hurt you less, even though it'll still
you're
hurt.
a brain surgeon. You're a brain surgeon, and you're making $450K a year, right? So we can do the math on that. You're a brain surgeon. You make $450K a year. They're taking, we'll say, max child support from you because you have 2 kids. So 55% of your income. Because you're in that income bracket, you're probably paying maximum taxation, which is because child support's not tax deductible. You don't get any credit. There is no type of credit for it whatsoever. So that money is just gone.
A fart in the wind.
You're paying about 30% in taxes plus 55% in child support. So you're only making 15 cents on every dollar you make. So what? For 400K, you're making 60 plus, what was it? So you're going to make like 65K a year as a brain surgeon. You're going to take home like 65K. Yeah, man.
That's fucked up. I was like, don't ask me to do math.
Oh my God. Even black women know that their shit's out of control, right? I'm trying to remember. I'm going to look her up so I can get you the name. But this chick, she was some type of psychologist, I think, and she's interviewing different middle school girls. And the one girl was like, yeah, I want to, they were asking, what are your goals are? What do you want to do when you get older? And the one girl was like, I'm going to have 2 kids. That was her goal. And it's like, oh, so you're going to get married and have kids? Why would I get married? If I got married, I couldn't get child support.
That's crazy. That is nuts. Back then, if I was a girl, I would fucking do it back then.
Now you see how these black chicks start thinking. It's literally like
I don't think girls nowadays think like that, though.
So I'm just telling you, it's just like that time when Will was like, who hurt you? That's because you can tell, and I'm unabashed with it. I do not hide it. I do not hide my disgust. I do not hide my revulsion. I don't deal with black women. It's just no. I have a theory on why they are the way they are, but that's going into like history.
You wouldn't date any black girl? None?
Rihanna, but she's spoken for.
Dude, I don't know what it is. I always liked them since middle school. I don't know what it is.
They're fun. They're out of, put it like this. When it comes to like sex and having a good time and everything else and going places, like they are like the best people to like. They're the best females there are, and I've been with like females from everywhere. I ended up marrying a Korean woman. I dealt with a bunch of Filipino chicks.
What's your main preference? Like what's your top type?
So it's gonna be Asian, and that's gonna be something that you're gonna see a lot of Western men starting to go for, is Asian women. It's always going to be Asian, and all Asian women aren't the same. My specific type, after dealing with Korean and Filipino chicks, I'm going to say that I would rather have a Japanese chick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've never dated a Japanese woman, but yeah, knowing what I know about them versus, what I've already had. If I was ever going to be in a serious, relationship again, I was going to be like, yeah, I'm going to settle down with this chick. It's going to be a Japanese chick.
Good luck. They're hard to get, man.
Yeah, you got to go to Japan.
You're like, you want the legit real deal thing.
Yeah, I'm not talking about listen, bro, you never let, oh my God. I had a friend named Charles Helms and another friend named Corporal Castle. I don't know what Castle's first name was, but they both, when they came back to Korea, right? This is the second time I was there. When I first met them, I was assigned because I can't remember. I was just a squad leader at the time, but since they were NCOs and I was an NCO, since I was a sergeant, they basically had me, you know, supposedly take them under my wing. And I'm like, these people, they were already here in Korea. They were at Camp Hovi before the
Yeah.
first time they're here, and that's when they deployed the. I think they were 19 infantry, and that's when they deployed to Iraq from Korea, which was out of control. And then instead of coming back to Korea, their unit got reassigned to a stateside base. But both of them came back to Korea with the intentions of meeting and marrying a Filipino girl, because both of them was, and this is how long ago the divide between Western women and Western men started, or American women and American men started. This was back in 2009, and they already had it in their head that they were never going to marry a Western woman. You know, I by that time I already knew that I probably wasn't gonna, ever have a marriage with a Western woman again, and I specifically knew I wasn't gonna date black women ever. And then being in Korea the first time,
Dude.
oh, listen, you think I'm lying? Being in Korea the first time,
I believe you, and I can't believe you're saying all black women.
all black women, all black women. And
Bro.
listen,
Well, at least I don't have to worry about hanging with you with my girl or any other.
bro. Listen, your girl you could be passed out, like blackout drunk. Your girl could throw it at me, and I'd like,
and I'll kill her.
I would look at her like she was, if like she's probably a nice person, and I don't know her, so I'm not gonna say about her. What I'm saying
she could say
this
some
was
mean
the
shit.
Situation. Like here's the context. There's context to this. This is the situation. If you're blackout drunk and you're passed out, because I my tolerance, I get fucked up before I tap. And you tap out and you're zonked, and then she's trying to throw it at me. I'm gonna look at her like she's diarrhea dog shit that a dog ate and then vomited back up as I walk out the door. And then best believe,
yeah, you are
come
nuts.
through the next day, I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna let you know.
Yeah,
like,
you better let me know.
Some black chicks, right? I'm gonna start recording secretly on my phone too from my pocket, so you can hear everything that she said. I don't do all that shit.
She is very nice though, but she does have a tongue on her sometimes.
Yeah, and that's another thing. So black women are beautiful. I mean, they're just gorgeous. I see the beauty that they possess, but then they open their mouth.
Dude, you're gonna get canceled talking about this shit.
So remember what I said at the beginning. I'm a professional asshole.
But we're gonna be on fucking TMZ.
I was just telling you, it was black women that made me this way. Oh my god.
I've never had that experience. I had someone who was very evil, I'll just say that. But it wasn't in like your black girl type way. It was more manipulative. I can't even explain it. That's a whole podcast.
I believe you. I believe you 100%. If you said it and it was about a black chick, I believe you. So let's go back to the child so we can finish. So what she would do is, what my daughter's mom would do is, she would look at their arrears and she would plot to when the next tax cycle would be, when she figured I would be filing my taxes. Yeah. And this is how she would always keep me in arrears, no matter how hard I tried, no matter how many hours I worked. No matter, at one point in time, I literally was working 3 jobs, and I just physically couldn't do it. Like, I started just breaking down, just physically could not do it.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. So what she would do is wait until she was like, okay, he would be able to pay off these arrears by February, and he's gonna probably file his taxes in March. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go down there, because I mean, she lived in the city still, in the actual city, and I lived in the middle of the state. So she would go down there, she would file a petition for an increase, because now if I don't show up for the hearing, she automatically gets the increase no matter what. And
knowing you can't show up.
Right. So I would get the letter saying when the hearing was going to be, because once she files the petition, right, they have to give me notification and then give me a chance to get there. But when they say it's going to be on this date, I can't request another date. It's going to be on that date. So
Yeah.
now I got to take this letter to my job. Like, listen, I got to go to Philadelphia and deal with this court stuff. So I have to request off. And she did this to me, I want to say 2 years. So this happened to me twice. So by the time she was going to do it the third time, she couldn't because I think I said I was going to kill her or some shit.
Yeah.
And then so what she would do, and by that time I was out of I had finally fought my way out of arrears. So now I go to the hearing, right? Now this is what she would do. She would only ask for increase like $5 to $15 a month. Or a week. Because I forgot everything is, by the week.
Yeah.
So she would ask for that by the week. And there's no judge, there's no court officer that's going to tell a chick you can't get an extra $10 a week. Because remember, they could take up to 55% of your income. But here's why she would do it. Because then the court would automatically make that order retroactive back to the birth of the child. So maybe it's only, like, we'll say it's $12 a week what they give her. But it's $12 a week for the last 5 years.
What?
Yeah, I swear to God.
So even when you were out of the hole, you kept getting back in the hole.
It's like being Al Pacino in The Godfather. Just when you think you're out, they pull you back in.
Oh my God!
I'll do the math for you right now. It's $12 a week, right? Times 52 weeks. That equals $624 times 5 years. That's $3,120. And it's a stroke of a pen, because once they sign off on the court order, that's it. So
that's crazy.
You might have got your arrears down to like $1,500. You're like, holy shit, I'm not eating next month.
Yeah,
I'm gonna pay off this $1,500. Nah. No. So that's how she would get, my tax refunds. She got, like I said,
up until how long? Up until your kid was 18.
So when I came out of the Army, my daughter was 16, so she was only going to get child support for less than 2 years. And we came to an agreement because, like I said, by this time, so this is how bad it was. I didn't talk to my daughter for a few years at all. Like, I just refused. I was like, because of everything I was going through with her mom. Now, remember, I already been charged. I already been to court. I already had all these felonies. Like, these are the charges I had: attempted murder, assault with a deadly weapon, endangering the welfare of a minor, 2, breaking and entering because I kicked in the door. And when I say I kicked in the door, I had to replace the whole door frame because I was blackout rage. Like, I don't even remember most of the moments. I don't really remember the door, coming off the hinges, being in the living room. I don't remember most of that. And then burglary, because I took the knife with me that I took from the kitchen. They charged me. This is why Ram Squad came for me, because I like I said, little boy rage, and I lost my mind.
Damn.
So hooray for family court, right? And since then, I was young when I made that mistake, and I've never made that mistake ever again. And I've held it over every last black woman's head since.
Jesus Christ.
When I finally, after the whole harassment of my job, right? Because now because when she started that's when she couldn't really get me for the arrears thing anymore, because I fought my way out of that shit. And eventually that rule, how it was set up, they reformed family court, so chicks can't do that anymore. They can't get your employer information. They can't harass you, because that's just harassment. That's a whole different thing now. Like, you can go after these people, and they can't retroactively make an increase in child support arrears back to the child's birth anymore. None of that, because like you're trying to get somebody murdered. Like, there's only so much you could do to a person before they snap and push back.
Yeah, it's like you have no choice. Like, I can't pay this. What am I gonna do?
be homeless.
You're killing me. Yeah,
Be
exactly.
homeless. 'Cause like I said, for a while, like I said, I was renting a room in a trailer park, and it wasn't even like,
Wait, you were renting a room in a trailer,
yeah,
not the.
not renting a trailer, renting a room in a trailer.
You
That's
you
how
had to
hard it
share it
was.
with people.
Nah, I shared the trailer with this guy, and that was sketchy as fuck too. Like
Was it
that's why
kill?
I'm so glad I was never there.
I was gonna say, was it Kid Rock?
Nah, but this dude, here's what made it
I'm kidding.
so sketchy. And this dude had Hep C, and he had it for years. Cause
Oh
he
man.
and he would just like he would just be so sick at times, and then like he would have like these
Like he's
bloody shits.
withdrawing almost.
Yeah. So I mean, he's dead by now. There's no way you can live like that, you know. But it just and it was such a demoralizing situation where you're like, how am I going through this? And then
Yeah.
it was like, well, you're gonna come and you're gonna spend the weekend in Philadelphia with your daughter. I'm like, I gotta work. I don't get days off. That's not how it goes. You know, you want to go out and hang out with your friends and go out with these dudes and all this other shit. Hey, that's over. You know.
How did it feel when you first talked to her after all that time?
It was mixed. Like I never held my daughter accountable for that. Like you can't do that. That's when then this was when I was still a better person. Like I was still trying to be a good guy. That's before I gave in to the hate. But you know, the hate was definitely there. So if you ever heard of Dungeons and Dragons, or
Yeah.
you ever heard of the alignment system from there, after everything I've been through in life, I'm literally lawful evil. Like I don't care. I really don't.
Do you
So
like that? Do you miss? Do you like? I try to be a good dude. Sometimes I'm a dick. I'm a human, but I really try to be a good dude. You don't. You just gave up on that. Fuck that.
yes, yeah. So that part of me, I view it as it's like the name of that Game of Thrones episode, "Kill the Boy." So that part of me, at some point in time, when you do self analysis and you start looking at your life and you start trying to make changes and figure out what changes you need to make. One of those changes is I looked at that positive side of myself and then I murdered it and then burned it and let it die and
Why
moved on.
do you think it hurts to feel like that? It
Uh,
exposes you, makes you vulnerable.
I don't really so I don't have any positive thinking because one of the things that the army did, especially being combat arms, you know, there's no hope in the army. Hope is not a fucking plan. Hope is what you do when you don't have a plan. Hope is what you do when you're fucked up, ate up, and you're about to fail. And you don't hope anything. You know how the battle is supposed to go. And you know that no matter what your plan is, everything usually goes to shit when bullets start flying. So you're going to have to fall back on your training. You're going to have to improvise and you're going to have to go through shit. But you don't go into a combat situation hoping that everything's going to be all right. You just, and this is why I feel like the United States military, and I've been around different militaries from different countries, and you know, not it's not even propaganda. The United States military is the best at what it does. We're probably one of the top three fighting forces in the history of warfare.
Really? And you're not being biased.
I'm not even being biased. That's not propaganda. That's literally looking at what we do, looking at all the different things that I learned. And the first that like the thing is, my first unit in the army, I was stationed in Fort Polk at JRTC at the in the 509th Airborne. So I was an airborne paratrooper, and we were the dedicated opposing forces. Like we were the bad guys. So if
Yeah.
you were a unit that was about to deploy, you had to come see us or you had to go to NTC and see the cavalry unit out there. I can't remember what their unit was, but they're in Fort Irwin. And that was the only way you could deploy is if you went to see one of those opposing forces units and fought them in a training rotation. And the things that I learned about our military and how combined arms works it's why the Russians are getting their asses handed to them, because they don't understand combined arms warfare. And I hear all these people talking all this shit about, all China's going to roll over Taiwan. And, China's fake ass army doesn't have the ability to use combined arms. They're going to try to do some of the same bullshit that they did during the Korean War. They're going to try and roll over there and use human wave tactics and overwhelm them, because they've had limited success with that in the past. Like when I first went to Korea, I went to this war museum on Camp Red Cloud, and I got to talk to 3 actual Korean War veterans, and they were talking about 2 of them served together, and they were in this machine gun nest, and they were at the front lines, and they said they looked up, and it was just a wall of angry, screaming North Koreans and Chinese.
Shit.
Because this is after MacArthur had pushed all the way up to the Eula River, and then or pushed all the way up to wherever the border is between China and North Korea, and China took offense to that, and they sent, I think it was 300,000 troops. So that's like 30 divisions. It was a massive number. So they sent all these, or no, that's like 10 divisions, I think. So they sent all these troops south, and it just, a lot of these troops didn't even have weapons. They were carrying like sticks. But when you have to fight that many people, you can't kill them all. And the guy was saying they were in the machine gun nest, and they kept firing until literally the attack moved right past them. So if you're here, the enemy's coming around, and they're just parting like the Red Sea.
Oh,
he was
yeah.
like, they were at the front line, and by the time, the enemy had passed them, they're now behind enemy lines. And he's telling a story about how they're trying to sneak back, because, you got to leave the machine gun, and you got to try and find a way to get back to, the front line, to your comrades. And it's just,
that's crazy.
China, so like I said, listening to all these different stories, being a student of military history, it's like we have the best military and the best combined arms in the world. Like, it's just, what's happening with Ukraine right now, and them using combined arms, it just proves it. But
that's interesting to think about. But what were the questions earlier? I forgot.
So we were talking about, so I guess we covered everything
Let me see something
that we're going to cover about the whole child support thing and the daughter's mom. So we'll go back to...
And your hatred for sexy black women. Except Rihanna.
Except Rihanna. Because she's not an American black woman. Maybe I should have clarified. So I'll date a black woman from any other country. So
do you know what Creole is?
Yes.
My girl was trying to explain it to me, and I kind of understand it, but not really. She said she's Creole.
That whole territory down there in Louisiana.
Yeah, that's where she's from.
That whole territory down there. Yeah, you know what? They're pretty nice down there. Me, I would probably date a Creole woman.
She says sir and ma'am.
Yeah. It's different. You know what? They're very different, and it's almost like they're almost like a different race. So I'm gonna take that back. It's not that I'm against all black women. I'm just against American black women. So if you're a Canadian black woman, yeah, holler at me. You go share something, holler at me.
Leave it in the comments. He's single.
Oh my God. There's
Natalie knows my girl's Creole. I will not pass out that night.
Oh my God, let me tell you something. The absolute most gorgeous women on the planet, hands down, no matter what race they are. And people are gonna be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Like, listen, you gotta understand that. Ethiopian women.
Ethiopia? My brother used to call me Ethiopian.
yeah, because you're skinny, right? But
yeah.
Listen, and I know the country gets a bad rap. But first off, Ethiopia was one of the only 2 countries in Africa that never got colonized.
Yeah.
Never got really conquered. Or maybe, Yeah, because the Italians tried to colonize them and they fought them off. And because of that, while the rest of Africa was colonized, they kind of got left out and they ended up being really poor all the way to this day. But the women there are just gorgeous. Like
I
they
don't know
have
if I
these
ever
really
seen. I'm sure I've seen them, but I don't know if I ever
There's-
knew. Like I probably didn't know they were Ethiopian.
There's a supermodel named Iman. She's old now, but she was in Michael Jackson's video "Remember the Times." So I don't know if you ever seen that video.
Yeah, I'm the biggest MJ fan. One time I
So-
filmed a TikTok of me in the back room doing the moonwalk. And then I look around. Is Andrew around?
I have no rhythm. So she's from the country right next door, Somalia. But those tribes over there are all intermixed, which is crazy because most of those tribes or most of those countries, and this is what a lot of people don't realize, most of the countries that you see on the map was basically made by European powers. Like, not that, okay, I don't know how to really put it. So, like, if you look at the Middle East, that whole area, Iraq, Syria, what else is over there? Jordan, Iran, all of that used to be one empire going into World War One. It used to be the Ottoman Empire. And then the Ottoman Empire lost World War One, got disbanded, and Russia and Great Britain divided up all the territories by tribes, and that's how they got the countries that they have now. So when you hear a country like Turkmenistan or Afghanistan, Stan simply means home. So Afghanistan means home of the Afghans. Turkmenistan means homes of the Turkmen, and so on and so on. So all
I
those
didn't know
countries,
that. You are a smart motherfucker. I gotta tell you.
It's all the useless knowledge that I absorbed. And I was in the military to learn everything because you never know when it might save your life. So know your enemy, learn everything you can about your enemy. It's if you buy into what they try to teach you in the military, it changes you forever. But it makes you a better person. It makes you a smarter person. You go out and you'll do the research. And then when I went to college, it just made me double down on that because I had this professor named Professor Paul Wright, and I'm so glad I had his courses because he changed my way of thinking. He was like, listen, and he was this West Indies guy who was he was a British citizen born in Jamaica, but he ended up moving to Britain, and then he settled in the United States as an adult.
Yeah.
But the point is, he said, don't tell me about how you feel. Tell me about what you know. And you only know what you can prove through research because everybody has an opinion, but not everybody knows what they're talking about. And I took that to heart. And so this is how, when I took my English 102 class, I was able to predict that Donald Trump was going to win the Republican nomination and then go on to be president. And some people don't believe me. And to this day, I have that paper saved on a thumb drive. I can show it to somebody and be like, here, open this up, look at it, read the date on it, and realize that I got an A for this. Because
that's crazy.
I all the research I did was spot on. I understood what was happening while everyone else was completely surprised. Yeah. I could have told Hillary Clinton, no.
You predicted he would win or he would run?
No, I predicted that he would win the nomination, and then later on, when I was talking to my professor, I told her exactly why he was going to win and why Hillary was going to lose.
Oh,
so I could have literally went to Hillary Clinton and be like, "Listen here, honey boo boo, you might as well stop spending all that money because you're not going to be president."
How did you feel about him winning as a black dude?
I voted for him because
that's controversial.
Oh yeah, I know it's controversial, but my reason for voting for Donald Trump is even more controversial than Donald Trump. So my reason
we gotta hear this.
So here's my version. Here's my reason for voting for Donald Trump. The president that we needed was Bernie Sanders. The president that America deserved was Donald Trump. And I don't care how anybody feels about that.
Say that
because
again. The president that was
the president that America deserved, or the president that America needed, would have been Bernie Sanders. So fuck Hillary Clinton. The president that America deserved was Donald Trump. I expected Donald Trump to literally tear the country apart and lead it in the Civil War. Even when Bush,
yeah, and you wanted him to do that.
yes, yes, because
You are fucking
and I want
nuts.
you to really think about it. I want you to really think about history for a minute. So
I think I know why you're saying that. Could I guess?
so for my people, like you'll hear people say that, oh, there's these cops out here killing us. Rah, 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 rah. So humans are intuitive creatures. All of us are intuitive, meaning deep down inside at a subconscious level, we can usually tell if something is true or not. It's instinctual. It's a part of our survival instincts, right? So black people as a whole, at the meta level, at the macro meta level, know that there's something wrong. It's just that none of us agree on exactly what it is. So once again, thank you, Professor Paul Wright. He taught me how to do research, and then later on, other professors like, listen, use the scientific method. If you can't prove your theory using scientific method, then your theory isn't true. So I started looking at the racial statistics in the United States, because at one point in time, if you go back to the 1990 census, Black America equaled 20% of the United States. So that meant we accounted for 1 out of every 5 people. Now, anybody who wants to call bullshit on me,
What year was that? You said
the 1990 census. So to find this out, and I dare anybody to call bullshit on me. So, like, if you didn't believe Charlie Murphy, when Charlie Murphy was talking about Prince whoop their ass at basketball in their little club clothes with the frills on them, and then served them pancakes afterwards, and then Charlie Murphy basically had receipts because everybody said that happened, including Prince. Everybody that was there said, yeah, that's a true story. I'm telling you right now, don't believe me. Just go to census.gov and look at from the government's website,
yeah.
and look at the census data. So in 1990, we were 20% of the country, right?
That's crazy.
Then you fast forward. Here's the crazy part. If the census is taken,
That doesn't even sound that long ago to me.
Yeah, it's not. It's like a generation and a half.
Yeah.
So what do you think our percentage was 10 years later in 2000?
I don't even know, Neil.
We were 16%. 16% of the country. So now we're no longer 1 out of every 5. We're like more like 1 out of every 6 out of every 7. Fast forward again to 2010. Now remember, Black people somehow believe that there's this great genocide against us, and that white people are killing us and blah 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 blah. So what do you think we equaled in 2010?
Dude, I don't even know at this point. Everything you're telling me, I'm like, what?
So in 2010, we went from being 16% of the country to 13.5% of the country. So every year you're looking at almost a 4% decrease. Now to the rest of the country, people would be like, oh, that doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah. It's only like 4% at a time. So it's 4% of the total country's population. But you have to look at it from the point of, well, this is just the Black population in the United States. And remember, the whole time there's been immigration from other countries to augment Black America. So all those people from the West Indies, even though they won't consider themselves, African American, they get lumped into that category. So even if you're an African immigrant, you're still going to get lumped in to the African American or Black category,
yeah,
on census.gov. So it doesn't matter because there's some beef there. Woo,
that's still a low percentage, dude. That's crazy.
Right. So, like I said, you look at it, 3 consecutive censuses, the Black population continues to decline. So in the 2020 census, now people didn't really pay attention to it, and this is one of the things that people wouldn't have been so, I don't know, like, I don't even know the how to describe it, but Americans have really short-term memory issues. Like we just, if it's, you could kill 50 children right now, and a couple weeks from now, it wouldn't matter. America
Yeah,
would be
you'll
on the
be
same.
talking about it for 2 days. It's on the news, and then it's gone. You're right.
Exactly. So Obama was like, listen, you know, the 2020 census, it needs to be, on point, blah 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 blah, because he really expected Trump to try and pull some shady shit. So finally, our population has kind of stabilized, but now we equal one out of, or we equal about 12% of the country. So there's been a steady decline.
Damn, that doesn't even sound. How? What do you think's the cause of the decline? What are you saying?
I have a theory, but it's not going to be, oh, there's white people out here killing us, and there's all these freaking white cops is out here killing us. There's this cop in the state of Pennsylvania who has killed 4 people in the line of duty, and none of them were black, and he's still a state trooper to this day. I'm gonna
Yeah.
look up his name for you right now, and he killed 4 white people at separate different times, and he's never been. There's no accountability. He's always been. His name is Trooper Splain. Splain. You can look him up. I
Yeah.
swear to God, this guy, he'll show you his picture. You can look up the videos of his shootings. Like the one dude he shot in the car from the top of he shot this dude from the top of the car. I was just like, yeah. And all of his homicides were viewed as justified. Because, like, here's one: if you are pulled over and the cop is, in the window or coming
Your
up in the
phone's.
vehicle, and you try to drive off or back into the cop or anything, that's it. The cop automatically gets to use deadly force. And a lot of people really don't understand how police work. And I used to have this argument because my degree path was criminal justice. And
Yeah.
I used to have this argument with my classmates all the time because they didn't understand, and nobody really understands how law enforcement works. Law enforcement everywhere in the United States is a part of the executive branch of whatever government municipality you live in. So if you're talking about Philadelphia, which is its own county, Philadelphia County Police are a part of the executive branch. So they don't report to city council. They don't report to the judiciary. They report to the mayor, because they are given executive authority to make executive decisions. So, because they can take people into custody and temporarily suspend their freedom, because they have the right to use deadly force, they are put in the executive branch for that reason. And that's how it works. The military is basically in the executive branch. You know, the president is the commander in chief of the military, and people don't understand that executive authority supersedes temporarily a lot of your constitutional rights. So when you're in a police encounter, during that encounter, there are limits to the power of the police, but there's not as many limits as you think. You don't
Yeah.
have the same freedoms going into a police encounter that you literally had before the encounter started. So if you've done something, say you just socked somebody in the face and the cops are coming and you're still fighting, that's now a police encounter. You need to start following commands because you're
I get it.
thinking,
You can't just. He's. You're supposed to listen to him.
right,
He has power over you. Like, there's a reason
Right.
he's even talking to you.
right, because the situation has caused this police encounter, and now the police are going to use executive authority.
I will say nowadays, people. You see videos all over. They're not listening to the cops. They're making jokes out of them. It's getting crazy with that shit. Not. I'm
So-
talking all races.
Yeah. I agree, but back to the whole thing of population decline. It's not these cops that's out here killing us. If you look at the homicide rates, and this is something else that I learned in my criminal law course, is the majority of murders, or so you'll have like these white people that are like, oh my god, these black people are here on a rampage, killing white Americans, blah 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 blah. No, you're talking about 90% of all the murders happen within their own race. So when black people are getting killed, or white people are getting killed, you're getting killed by another white person, or you're getting
Yeah,
killed
they
by
say
another
that.
black person, and we have
They,
a ridiculously high homicide rate for a post-industrialized country, like probably the highest homicide rate out of all the post-industrialized countries. So we're we're killing ourselves. Then you have these people that are, they're young, they go out and do some stupid shit, they get into some really serious trouble, they go behind bars from a young age, and maybe they haven't had any kids yet. And by the time they come out, they're like 40, 45, 50 years old. That person isn't, likely to have any kids. So you
yeah.
look at the incarceration rate, and, we have about 2 million Americans incarcerated. And you look at it, the majority of that is men. And then you look at it again, the highest group of individuals in a prison are black, and then Hispanic, and then white. There's barely any Asians in there. But let me tell you something. An Asian in jail, it's probably because they did some serious shit.
That is true. You never see an
Yeah.
Asian criminal.
Yeah, and like there's this white guy.
Could that
He
be
did
because we're
shit.
not in like China or Japan or an Asian country too?
Yeah. But there's this diesel white guy, tatted all up, and he spent all his time in jail. And he does these YouTube shorts, and he's talking about it. He's saying like, yeah, usually when you see an Asian in jail and you find out what they're in for, it's usually murdering a few people, dismembering some people.
Oh, it's like
when they get caught for something, it's going to be like really serious.
Not some
of these
petty
dudes
shit.
Right, these dudes are triad members, yakuza, all types of
Yakuza.
wild.
Yeah,
they're still kicking barely, but they're still.
Do you know that game? Is that a thing? I thought it was just a video game, Yakuza.
Nah, the yakuza is a real thing that goes back hundreds of years to like the samurai time, bro. To the shogunate. That's
Really?
how
I
far
thought
back
that.
the
I know what
Yakuza goes.
Shogun is because Trivium has a song called Shogun.
Yeah, it goes.
That's
all the way back to
Japanese,
the
right?
Shogun time. Yeah, the shogun was like the ruler of Japan, like their version. I don't know. I don't think he was the emperor. I think the shogun was just like the most powerful warlord of the time. Like Asian history is really trippy. Like here's one. I used to think that Dynasty Warriors was just a game. Dynasty Warriors,
Dude, I used to play that for hours.
Yes! Yes! My
That-
favorite dude was Hung Guy, who walked around with the big,
the big
like,
fat
rod
dude.
and just beat people with it. He
Oh.
didn't even have like a weapon. He just
Dude.
had a big stick, and he would just.
That is the
pound people.
funnest game ever.
I
Like
would put it on the hardest setting, right? And I would do like one of the hardest stages. I would do the siege of Hefe Castle.
oh
because
man,
the
I used to hate
guitarist
those
in
fucking
there-
bosses. They were so hard.
Listen, the music. Oh, you gotta look that shit up on YouTube. It's called Blast from the East, I think. That like I'm like, what's up with these Japanese people, bro? Because they're into hip hop, they're into metal, they're into all types of music, and like this shit is bumping.
Yeah.
Blast from the East. That track was motivating.
What's that
So
from? Dynasty Warriors?
Yes, from Dynasty Warriors.
I don't remember it.
wanna
I
say
remember they
Dynasty
had a lot of
Warriors
like
3.
dancey music.
Nah, man. Hold on. I'm gonna look for it right now and tell you which
Dude.
one it was from. I swear to God, this song will motivate you if you. It was from Dynasty Warriors 3. You had to play it.
Was that on PS2 or PS1?
It was on PS2 and Xbox, and I played it on Xbox because the Xbox was more powerful. So, like, you know how if too many enemies, say you had more than 50 enemies and they all wouldn't load in, the Xbox would load like 200 enemies.
Oh,
so
shit.
you could see, it was like, yeah,
It
this
had
is
more
what I'm talking
power.
about. Like playing Dynasty Warriors, that's before they had the saying all the smoke. Like certain stages on Dynasty Warriors, you had to want all of the smoke because you were about
Yes,
to get it.
dude. I used to love what you would just stare at the map and you would see like a blob of red, and I would just run in it.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I used to play with my man Jared Evans when I was in the army, and he'd be like, "Where are we going, Dave? Like, look at your map, bro. You see where everybody's gathering at?
Yeah.
That's where we're going. We need to get there before our people get there." And I
That's what it was fun. It felt like you were really in this fight. It felt real. Like it was exciting. Like, let's go.
Yeah, bro. I used to play the shit out of that game. I love that game.
Did you
But
ever
yeah,
play
the track is really called Blast from the East. You should check it out sometimes. It'll take you back to the Dynasty Warriors days.
All right. I'm going to.
But that whole game is literally based off of the real Three Kingdoms War. All those main generals like Cao Cao, and for some reason, Asians love Cao Cao. There's been multiple movies.
These
about
are
Cao
real
Cao.
people.
That war really happened. It was
I didn't
real
like the
people.
characters were named after real people too.
Yeah, they're all historically, like all those characters historically existed. Not
Oh,
all
that's
the battles
crazy.
happened because you could pick. So certain generals and certain warlords died off at certain times, but the game allows you to progress beyond that person's death. Like Sun Shi, who was the leader of what was it, the Sun Clan or the Wu Clan? Because it was Wu, Wei, and Shu. So he was the leader of Wu. And Liu Bei was the leader of Shu. Cao Cao was the leader of Wei. Well, Cao Cao wasn't always the leader of Wei. Eventually, Sima Yi replaced him. And Sima Yi is just Cao Cao's advisor in the game because eventually Cao Cao dies off. Same thing with Liu Bei. Same thing with Sun Shi.
Yeah,
But
I
there's
remember
ways
Liu Bei. That's crazy. Like, how do I
Liu
remember?
Bei
That
was
was
the leader of Shu.
and
I
Cao
love Liu Bei,
Cao.
man.
Like, but it's been so long. It's crazy how those names still pop in my head when you name them. I thought of it. Like your memory retains shit you don't even know you have.
Yeah. Here's one. If you play PS2, do you remember playing SSX? The
Yeah,
Sony game?
SSX tricks
Yes.
and tricky,
Bro.
dude.
There was this track on there, and this is like I really love all types of music. There's this track on
Me too.
there. Yeah, I can tell. I when you send me some of the songs, like I feel like my music taste is more eclectic than yours, but your music taste is eclectic. You listen to a lot of shit. Like when I say I listen to a lot of shit, I listen to J-pop, K-pop. I love Indian music. Like when they made that movie, did you just see it on Netflix? Tell me you've seen the movie Triple R.
Never even heard of it.
Yo!
I seen Chris Rock's comeback at what's his name? Will Smith.
Chris Rock's comeback is fire, bro.
Yo, he
coming
was-
at Will Smith's neck.
He was
This guy-
mad, dude.
Yo,
You could
me
see it in
too.
his eyes. Like he was fucking mad. He wasn't even joking no
and
more.
Jada Pinkett, and I'm so glad somebody's chopping Jada Pinkett down because it's about time somebody chopped her down.
It seems like everybody's on Will Smith's side. Everyone's talking shit on Chris Rock.
I'm not. Listen,
From what I
I don't
seen.
care how Jada Pinkett feels about it. Here's the thing. Chris Rock is a comedian. He is going to go up there and say some controversial stuff.
Yeah.
You know, you look at some of the comedians we've had in the past, like Andrew Dice Clay, even Richard Pryor.
Oh yeah, I know
story
him.
time.
Yeah, he's crazy. He's fucking
So
nuts.
We're gonna go story time for a minute. So my aunt Patricia, who was like my favorite aunt on my mom's side, was a lesbian, and she was married to well, this is before you could get married, but she basically lived her life with her partner Denise. And my mom eventually bought their house because they moved to a bigger house outside the city. And my mom bought their house. We moved in, and they had left some stuff there. And some of the things they left there was vinyl records, and they had vinyl records of Eddie Murphy, and they had vinyl records of Bill Cosby and Richard Pryor,
Oh
like
shit.
comedy stand-ups that they did.
Yeah, that's rare.
Yo.
Probably.
Richard Pryor had me sweating. I was listening to it with headphones on. Richard Pryor had me sweating and had tears coming out my eyes.
Oh, that's
This
the best.
dude was funny as shit. But if
Is
you
he your
was
favorite
cross-fit-
comedian?
Nah, because you know what? I tried to get away. I've tried to, get back into comedy. I tried to get away from being so angry all the time. For a while, I just wouldn't do any comedy. stuff at all because I was like,
What would you be watching? Fucking movies about murder and shit.
okay, here's one, and this is why I don't
filling your
believe in-
heart with hate.
I'm trying to tell you, it's the dark side, bro. If you give in to the dark side, if you give in to hate,
Dude, you just made me think of. Can I ask you something? Are you a Star Wars nerd? I'm not, but I just want to ask you something.
I love pretty much all sci-fi. I watch it all. I
Dude,
watch Star
did
Trek,
you like the
Star Wars.
prequels with the ones with Liam Neeson when the Darth Vader dude's crawling on the rock and he's like, "You were supposed to be the one."
Oh, so Revenge of the Sith was pretty nice. I here's what the
Dude,
problem
I
with
love
prequel
that
stories
scene though
is.
when they're fighting on the rocks, dude. That shit was good.
I give everything a chance, and I'm not nearly as harsh on movies as the critics. And I don't like when the fanboys come out and like, you ruined my childhood and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But I feel like no matter what you do, it's going to be painful. So looking back at Star Wars, there was a lot of things that George Lucas probably shouldn't have did. Like he shouldn't have did, unless Jar Jar Binks was going to really be like the Reddit theory is that Jar Jar Binks is the secret Sith Lord that started everything. Unless that was going to be the twist, he shouldn't have put Jar Jar Binks in there. That was kind of stupid.
Yeah, I know what you
Borderline
mean.
racist.
I don't know much about Star Wars. I only seen the prequels and the one where he says, "Luke, I'm your father." That's all I know.
That's where The Empire Strikes Back, probably the greatest Star Wars movie ever. And which is funny.
Dude, Darth Vader, when I was a kid, used to scare the shit out of me.
Are you serious? You scared of Darth Vader?
I just thought not scared of him, but I was like, he is the most badass motherfucker. Like, he would just kill I just thought he was so badass.
Yeah, listen, did you see Rogue One?
No.
Or go watch Rogue
I have
One.
all of them on Blu-Rizzle.
Oh my god, I never bought a Blu-ray player. I didn't care. And then come to find out,
I just use my
you don't-
PS4, but yeah, I gotta.
Oh yeah. That's what I was about to say. I was about to say, come to find out, if you had a PS4 or higher or Xbox 360, they all had Blu-ray players.
Yeah. Now the new PS5 has a 4K player.
Oh, sweet action.
I kind of
might-
want one. I ain't gonna lie.
I might get a PS5 just so I can play Call of Duty again because I love playing Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, I always wanted to ask you what you think of Call of Duty. You probably love it.
Listen, when I first played Call of Duty 1, the first Call of Duty Modern Warfare, not the World at War series. When I saw somebody, it's true story. So this is how it works out. I'm in Korea. I'm on this thing called CQ duty on the weekend, which fucking sucks. So CQ stands for charge of quarters. So you're the NCO that's in charge for your company while everybody else is off.
Yeah.
So basically, you're going to be in uniform. You're going to sit at a desk. You're going to go check the company arms room at least. You had to check it at least twice a day. I would go and check it like a minimum of 4 or a maximum of 4 times within a 24-hour period. Also, the duty starts at 9 a.m. and doesn't end until 9 a.m. the next day. So it's a 24-hour duty. So I'm on CQ duty, and it's a 4-day weekend. So that meant we were off Friday and Monday. So Thursday was the end of our work week. So this is Saturday morning that I'm on CQ duty. So you can tell I'm pretty butthurt. And one of the things I had to do was walk up, because we lived in a 4-story barracks building. I had to walk up on every floor and check every door to make sure they had locked their door.
Yeah.
So the one dude was just in his room, and he was playing Call of Duty, and his door was unlocked. And I just, it was like a private, and I was a E5, and I just walk into the room, and I'm like, yo, you gotta lock your door. He's like, oh yeah, my bad, Sergeant. And there was barely anybody in the building because in 4-day weekends, everybody disappears and goes everywhere.
Yeah.
And I look, and I'm like, yo, what's this game, Private? He's like, it's Call of Duty, Sergeant. And I just sat down on the bed and just started watching him play this game. It just was taking me back to Iraq.
Yeah.
Playing this scene where he had to defend this Abrams tank, and the Abrams tank was disabled. Like the tracks were disabled, so the tank couldn't go anywhere. But the main gun was still working. and the ambulance comes with like 120 millimeter main gun.
Yeah.
And so when you're having problems, that's usually your problem solver right there. And I just after that, I was enamored, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going back, and I'm gonna get this game.
Yeah,
I
that's
loved it.
cool. You probably for you it's probably an experience. That's
Uh,
nuts.
yeah, it really was.
Damn, man.
It took me back. But
I can imagine. You like zombie? My favorite zombies is the one on World at War. It's simple.
Oh,
It's
I
so
played-
fucking hard though.
I played the Black Ops zombies because I played Black Ops.
I think I played that
Three.
one.
So that's my only experience with zombies from Black Ops, and they had in the first Black Ops, they had Ice Cube doing the voice for I can't remember what the guy's name.
Ice
Woodson or
Cube.
whatever. Yeah. It was crazy, right?
Gotta love Ice Cube.
Yeah, I love Ice Cube since back in the day, since NWA, and then when he did his own solo, he started with his first solo album, Death Certificate. I just went to a concert. Remember when I requested off? I went to go see the RZA at the Underground. Not the RZA, the Jizza at Underground.
Oh, really? How was
that
that?
shit was. I got video of it. I mean,
Is that the guy? Is that the dude you just told me to listen to?
Nah. The dude I told you to listen to was this Japanese guy named Nujabes. It's like if you didn't have the accent, the Japanese accent, it's basically him combining new job and best. Like, I'm a new artist, I do this as a job, and I'm the best at it. So
shit.
Dude was
That's cool.
It's crazy to see how American hip hop, in particular the Wu-Tang Clan, affected them, because that's how they kind of got into hip hop when Wu-Tang was going over and touring like all throughout Asia. So they're selling out in Japan, they're selling out in Korea, they're selling out in China. And so when I was in Korea, it was crazy seeing people, Korean young people with like that American hip hop style, dressed out, sneaks, bandanas, hoodies.
Yeah, it's like you're like you don't realize that this shit's all over.
Right.
Like they got rap just like we got rap.
Right. I have an album by this Korean rap duo by they're like Jin Sung or something like that. I listened to it. It was alright. They actually did a song with the American rap group Mobb Deep, which I was surprised.
I know them.
Yeah,
I know of them.
Shook Ones and things like that. I was so shocked. But I was like, if you're gonna do a song with Mobb Deep, I'll give your album a chance. And this is back when people used to buy CDs. So
I miss that. It used to be exciting. Like, oh shit, this album's coming out Friday. I do miss that.
Yeah, I don't think people, this generation really doesn't understand that. I used to go to like different music stores like Sam Goody or The Wall, and they would have like this board up, and it would show you like the different artists and whenever their album was about to drop.
Yeah.
Like, you could pre-order that shit, and people like
that shit was so exciting.
I remember when Wu-Tang dropped their second album, like it was sold out before it even got released. Like you couldn't, like, because of the pre-release orders, you really couldn't. And this is before you had online, downloading the music. There was no real, Apple and all that shit yet. No Apple Music. No, this is even before you really had the file sharing, like Kazam and Napster and all that shit. So
yeah, and you couldn't, when you bought an album, most times you only heard like 2 songs, like the singles, and you don't know, the rest of the album might suck, but you still bought it because you gotta check it out.
And it's crazy because I remember I was trying to tell you that Walmart ruined the music industry, and
I was like nah.
And so think about what you just said, because when Walmart's CEO was negotiating with the music industry in Hollywood at the time, what you just said is what he brought up. He was like, listen, we're already selling all of your CDs at a loss. And he was like, sales of music only accounts for 2% of our total sales. So we can live without it. But we buy so much of your music that you can't live without us. And that's just literally how it is. Imagine if you're Kellogg's, you can't sell your product.
And you're saying Walmart bought their music? But music, I'm
No,
so
think of Walmart threatened to stop selling music altogether. Did you ever read the music magazine Spin Magazine?
not really. I would just look at the
But
covers. I
but you
know
know
that.
what it was. So
Yeah.
when I was in Iraq, you know, when you have downtime, because here's what my life was in Iraq the first time. The second time I went to Iraq, nothing ever happened. Half the time, these people that I was with wouldn't even wear their body armor in the goddamn gun trucks because it was so calm. But the first time I went there, my life was either it's Call of Duty this day or it's nothing's happening for like weeks and you're bored
Yeah.
out of your mind. And then it goes back to Call of
It's
Duty.
kind of like a firefighter.
Yeah, bro. But
I'm
so I would
jerking
read-
off.
I would read anything that you sent me, and I figured it was the closest thing to being in prison, being trapped on like a small fob. Because you would, you know, in your downtime, you weren't cleaning your weapon or cleaning out your vehicle or doing something or going on patrol. There's nothing to do. You can't spend any money. You're not going anywhere, so you might as well read. So I used to
Yeah.
read Spin Magazine. Anytime somebody had a volume of it, I'm like, yeah, let me get that, and I read. I would read everything. Maxim, what was it? HFM magazine. I would read everything.
Basically,
And I was reading
it's like back in the day when you were in a waiting room. You would I'm looking at a fucking Home Good magazine at 12 because I'm just there was no phones back then.
Right. So that's that's how it was, and this is before the era of smartphones because this is 2004, 2005.
Yeah.
So Apple didn't come out with their iPhone until I want to say 2007, the first iPhone. So the first time I was in Iraq, I did all this reading. I'm reading this long ass 6-page article in Spin Magazine, and it was I think the article was something like the damage that Walmart did to the music industry. So even Spin Magazine was trying to make the point that I was trying to make. So Walmart at the time was selling, I think, all their CDs. It didn't matter who it was. They were selling all the CDs for the same price, $12.99. And that's how it was.
Yeah.
And at the time, Walmart was taking like a $2 loss per CD, is what the CEO of Walmart was trying to say in his argument. And he was like, either you tell your artists to make shorter albums because the majority of the music that they're putting on these albums is just filler music. So think about what you said, where you was like, there might have been 2 or 3 singles on an album, but you would still buy the whole album. He was like, either have them sell more singles or have them sell shorter albums so you can charge less money because we're already taking a $2 loss and it's just not worth it anymore.
Is that why they used to sell singles? Like you could buy a CD with 2 of the hits on it, and that's all it had on it. You remember them singles?
Yeah, singles have always been a thing because you had artists going all the way back to like Motown and all the way back to like the 60s. They would make these singles and it would just be this song and they would just be torn. It wouldn't even be a whole album.
Just to attract people and have something to play.
Right. So like say we're gonna go old school for a minute. Frankie Valli, when he made Can't Take My Eyes Off of You, or when he sung it, I don't think there was an album for that. I think that he was already on tour, and I think when they came out with the song, he did the song because somebody else wrote it, and he did the song, and it was just an instant hit.
Yeah.
And I don't ever think there was an album for that. And that's just how
That's
it was
crazy.
for the longest
And people,
time.
they're
The
still
complete-
playing that song. That's nuts.
Yeah, that song is fire. Oh, Lauryn Hill remade it and it was fire.
Did she remake it?
Yeah.
I gotta
Yeah,
check
she
that
did.
out.
Can't Take My
She's
Eyes Off
good.
You.
What's that?
Yeah, it was she only has the one album and it's a song, it's one of the songs on her album. It's beautiful. And for years I always thought that was her song. I didn't realize she remade that.
Are you thinking of Killing Me Softly?
No.
You know that's a remake too, though.
Killing Me Softly.
Did you know that was a remake?
remake? But no, that's still the album's called The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. It's on Apple
right.
Music.
Yeah, I
I'm pretty
like
sure
her.
it's on Apple Music because she
even-
did kind of lose her mind.
I heard she said something. She don't want white people listening to her music, so I might
she
not
did.
be able to
That's-
play it.
That's why I said she lost her mind. So it might not be on Apple Music. And that's one of the reasons why she only had the one album. So as crazy
Damn,
as the
really?
chick was, I had to give it to her. Like she stuck to her guns. She
Oh, she's legit. I don't Like everybody respects her.
I don't know about all that.
I know.
Especially after she lost her mind and just was like, oh,
I can't believe she only put one album out though. I thought she had more than that.
Nope, that's the only album she came out with. But she, she was in the Fugees, the rap group, the Fugees.
Oh, all right. When I say that, I'm combining all that. You're talking her on her own solo.
Yeah, she only did one solo album.
All
but
right.
the Fugees, she did. With the Fugees, she did, I think, 3 albums. 3 albums.
Right.
So she's been on 4 music albums.
All right. I got to check them out though. I didn't know that. All right, we'll do one more question. We're almost done.
Oh, that's cool.
I want to ask you, are you a fan of Michael Jackson?
Oh, yeah. Do I believe he was molesting them kids? Probably. He had
Dude,
a fucked up life.
I actually don't think he did. But anyway, I love Michael Jackson. That's why I wanted to ask you that.
Yeah. Here's one. So his sister Janet supposedly has a child because she got married before she had had the child that she had by the Arab guy. She got married to this black guy back in the 80s.
Yeah.
And she paid him out when they got divorced. And the theory is, because remember, after she did, I think, the Rhythm Nation album, she didn't do anything for a while.
Yeah, she did. I do remember that. She, disappeared for a while.
Right. So there's this chick out there that's claiming that she's Janet Jackson's daughter, right? Because her father is Janet Jackson's ex-husband. And the age that this chick is really matches up.
Oh, shit.
So
this is recent?
This is recent. I need to find this chick's name so I can tell you. And you'll be like, what? Because
that's crazy. Does she look like her at all?
Nah, because
you think she just wants money, or you think it's true?
Well, she's an adult, right?
True.
And so she's not going to get any money. So the chick's... Oh, what the hell what is her name? Did Janet Jackson have a secret baby? So I was watching the girl talking, and Janet Jackson's first husband was this guy named James DeBarge, and her father is James DeBarge, and basically Janet Jackson supposedly got pregnant, and then paid him off because they were getting divorced. Paid him off and was like, "You're gonna raise the daughter," and that was gonna be that. And
that's crazy. God.
Janet Jackson denied it, but here's the thing. The chick is like, well, we can just do a DNA test. And Janet Jackson has refused.
That's crazy.
So
Janet Jackson, shouldn't she know it came out of her?
No, see, here's the thing. Think about what I'm saying. So the theory is that Janet Jackson put her career ahead of being
a mom.
Mother. And so if you really think back to that time, there weren't too many female pop stars of that level. You had Madonna, you had Paula Abdul.
I love Madonna.
Janet Jackson. I love Madonna too. Her freaky ass.
Dude.
So
when you call my name, come on, bro.
Listen, bro, fuck that. Justify My Love. She's crawling on all fours.
Dude, she's got some fucking. She's got some hits. She's got some. Yeah, she's got some good songs.
Justify My Love was banned on you couldn't watch the video at all. It's literally like a BDSM video.
Dude, that song is sexy, man. You'll see me at work with like a Slipknot shirt on, and in my headphones, I'm listening to Madonna.
Listen, bro, it's like listening to my playlist of World in Flames, and it's like I'm listening to Hatebreed. I will be her.
Yeah, like no one's expecting that.
Nobody's like, what the fuck? Or I'm listening to Chimera, and they're like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, bro.
Yeah, when you said Hatebreed, I was like, oh shit, they are like, cause I would never expect you to know Hatebreed.
Dude, I fucking love Hatebreed, bro. I was into a lot of music that people wouldn't think I was into. I was into Pandera, you know, Vulgar Displays of Power.
Oh shit,
Power
bro! Come
Challenge.
on.
Yes.
Did you
Yes.
ever get fucked with because you're a black dude liking weird shit like that?
So I started liking. So you gotta remember, like, it's a whole different story. So I was born in Philadelphia, but then my mom married my stepfather when I was 3. So then I left from 3 to 13, and I lived all over the United States. So I grew up around different people with different music. You know, I didn't really grow up in the hood until I came back. As a
All
teen.
right, you were already
Right. So
formed, kind of.
right. So I was, in other words, I never went to an all-black school until I was like 13.
Really?
Yeah,
I did.
didn't-
I only
I
been
didn't-
in black schools. That's crazy.
Yeah, I never seen that the whole natural segregation that Philadelphia has.
We should make a movie
Until I came back.
trading places.
Yeah, we should. So I grew up around different stuff. So by the time I came back, you know, I listened to a lot of stuff. And then the next thing is, you know, I grew up in the MTV era. So when you would turn on MTV, you know, it wasn't the trash that MTV is now. They didn't have any reality shows yet. This was all just different.
Oh yeah, it was just music all day.
Right. So everything was music shows. So you'd watch all types of videos, and that's
Yeah,
just
they
how it
didn't
was.
just stick with one genre. They played all different shit.
Yeah, and that's where all those VJs got famous and shit
Mm-hmm.
like that, like Ed Lover and Dr. Dre and a few others. Downtown Julie Brown. But
Damn,
yeah,
I'm
so
sorry.
I grew
You
up
were-
on like Foo Fighters and
Yeah, you love
um,
them.
Metallica, Guns N' Roses, Bon Jovi, all types of shit.
The first band that got me into rock was, I think it was either Motley Crue or Guns N' Roses. I think it was that November Rain video. You know
Yeah,
that.
the fucking 9-minute video. And
Yeah, and then Slash gets on the piano. I was like, from that day on, I loved metal and all that. But I like other shit too.
So I like a little bit of everything.
Yeah, you get in different moods. You can't always listen to some hype shit. You can't always listen to some chill shit.
Yeah. I mean, I agree.
Depends on your mood.
Second time I went to Iraq, I walked into this laundry point on Fob Falcon, and it was ran by all Indian people, and they were playing some shit, and I was like, "What is this song?" And it's like the most Indian song ever.
Dude, I love Indian vocals like that. I love that shit. I can't tell you
I
any
swear to
songs
God,
though.
I might still have the CD, but this is when like music was when the music industry was trying to fight back against like online streaming and all that shit and like
Yeah.
file sharing. So sometimes you would burn a CD, and what would happen is when they complained to the computer industry at the time, it was like Gateway before they went out of business, and Dell and all those things. You would have a burned CD, so you would make the CD right, and when you put it in your laptop, once you played it in that laptop, you couldn't play it in anything else.
Are you kidding?
I
What?
swear to fucking God.
What was that? The beginnings of burning CDs?
No, burning CDs on CD-ROMs have been around since they made CD-ROMs. So you're talking about earlier than that, probably back to
Jesus Christ.
2000. I want to say 2000 is when you could burn CDs. And then like computers didn't used to come with CD players. They had the port, but you would have to go to like the computer store and buy the CD player.
Yeah, I remember. I actually remember
Yeah.
I bought one. Like,
and then you'd have to slide it into that port in the front.
yeah, like connect it on your own. I
Right,
did that.
right.
Or I
Unless you
think
bought it like that because they would charge you extra. Because I remember buying a Gateway computer before, and that's how it worked. They charged us extra for the stuff that we wanted on the computer.
yeah, I remember I had you remember Compact?
Yeah, I remember Compaq before they went under.
It had
Yeah,
the ugly purple shit around it. I love that computer. A lot of porn. That was before porn was free.
Yeah.
You used to have to jerk off to the ads.
Yeah. I remember that. I remember that.
The ads, like, you know
Now you
what?
got Pornhub and X Hamster, and it's just like, okay, I don't need chicks anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, I'll just watch
Pull,
some.
pull out the flashlight. Fuck it.
There you go. Or OnlyFans. Jada, not Jada Fire,
Jada.
Ava Devine is always giving like free subscriptions out to her OnlyFans for like 30 days. And I'm like,
Ava Devine. I don't know if I know her. I like
Yeah,
this
so-
girl, Holly Hendricks. I hope my girl don't listen to this. Holly
I don't know if
Hendricks,
I've
bro.
ever seen anything by Holly Hendricks.
Dude,
For a while,
save her name, man.
Holly Hendricks. Let's look her up.
Bro.
Let's see this.
I
chick.
hope my girl don't watch this shit. She won't make it this far if she does. Dave's
I'm looking at this chick. She don't look like Janet Jackson, but
who knows? Janet Jackson probably don't even look like Janet Jackson. who we see probably isn't who she looks like without all that surgery.
oh, definitely not. It's like, have you ever seen Mariah Carey without her makeup? And as beautiful as
She
Mariah
always reminded me of that bunny from not Dick Tracy, Roger Rabbit.
Rabbit, yeah, Jessica Rabbit.
Yeah, she look. I
Yeah.
always thought of Mariah Carey as her.
That was little boys' fantasies for years.
Who was your first crush? Do you remember?
Janet Jackson.
For real? For me, I think it was either Buffy or Xena. One of them.
For the famous people, yeah, Xena. I didn't really Buffy. Nah, didn't do it for me.
What about Kelly from Saved by the Bell? You ever watch that?
Yeah, I'll tell you if you want to talk about sitcoms.
I liked
that did it for
Lisa.
me. Topanga, boy.
Oh
Meets
yeah,
World.
everybody loved her. Yeah,
Topanga.
Topanga. She had those lips.
Got weirded out. What's her name from Wonder Years was nice too. Then she
Oh,
got
I used to
weirded out.
love her. What the
When
fuck?
she
What?
got
Winnie Cooper.
Winnie Cooper. But then she weirded out when she was older. Like, not as a person, she's her features weren't what you thought they would be.
Yeah, she was. You're right. She was. I always used to say I want a girlfriend like Winnie Cooper.
Yeah, so
So we're gonna make you find the good side of you again. I'm gonna try. That's why I want you to listen to Blue October, bro. Just
No,
listen
man.
to them.
no, because
Did you
There's-
give up on love? You think you ever want to get in a relationship?
so
I got to get off soon, but we'll end it on this question.
That's fine. I don't think that's ever gonna happen because anytime I get close to somebody, life just says, "No, Dave, you did something really bad a long time ago, so you're gonna continue suffering." I don't even believe that I can really. So you see how aggressive I am with certain people, especially the homeless people and thieves and dickheads. And stuff like
we
that.
we almost got in it.
I don't believe I can die. To be honest with you, I don't believe I can die, not because I'm like some tough guy or because I'm like some badass and vet and I've been to combat twice and blah blah. Nah, I believe that as punishment, if there's a God, that God has decided you're gonna live a long life, you're gonna regret everything that you ever did wrong, and you're gonna continue to suffer and sacrifice to make up for the mistakes of your past. Because I've done some pretty.
You don't think
I
you
look-
can't forgive yourself? You don't try it?
So it's like that whole thing of accepting Jesus Christ into your heart as your Lord and Savior. So that would never work for me because if you can't forgive yourself, then God can't forgive you. And there's certain things like there's the one thing that drives me. It's like the one thing. It's like the Doom level. It's like, but in the original Doom, like I want to say 3 levels before the final level, the name of the stage is Redemption Denied. And then when I wake up, that's the first thing that I think. Redemption Denied. So
Damn, dude. You think you're broken?
I'm not broken. I'm functional.
Are you depressed? Do you feel depressed?
I
Like, do you hate waking up?
So I could definitely pass on waking up. I wouldn't miss life really that much at all. There's just really not much to it. That's especially once you see some of the things that I've seen and gone through some of the stuff that I've gone through. It's kind of like, yeah, I really wouldn't wish that on anybody else. And yeah, and so when you come back from deployment, you're gonna have to sit down with a psychiatrist no matter what, just to be able to go on leave, which is vacation.
Do
And
you
you're
think
gonna
if you never joined the army, you would feel like is like
nah, if I didn't join the army and learn how to control it, I would have been in jail a long time ago. And because the rage with me started from childhood, because from the very pretty much the very first year with my stepfather all the way till my mom developed some common sense and left, I was getting my ass beat by a grown man. Like I mean, it was bad. It was so bad. The MPs, which stands for military police, they would come to our house as much as once a month and no less than say once a quarter. Well, it was so bad at times. They would take my stepfather out of the house and he wasn't allowed to come back for days at a time. But this is
damn.
back in the 80s.
This is when you were a kid. How old
Right.
were
This is
you?
when I was a kid. So, like I said, from 3 years of age to 13 years of age. So
Just
the reason
getting-
why my mom finally got divorced is because she realized one way or the other, one of us was going to die. Because at a certain point in time, I basically stopped crying when he was beating me, and he was just going to have to beat me harder, and he would just beat me harder. He would beat me until the tears came out. He would beat me until I cried out. And,
That's fucking over what? Just over dumb shit? Over anything? Was he
oh,
drunk?
everything, man. Let me tell you how much of an asshole this guy was. And this is one of the reasons why I have the feelings that I have about Texas, because it's got to be some type of Texas thing. So imagine you're a kid and you're 11 years old. I'm gonna send you.
What do you mean Texas? Is he?
He was from Dallas, Texas.
Oh, okay.
So-
all right, I'm sorry. Continue.
We're talking to 11-year-old Angelo right now, and I'm your stepfather. And we're sitting at the dinner table, so it's nighttime. Angelo, go to the refrigerator and get me some salad dressing. What are you gonna go get me?
Salad dressing.
Okay, so little Angelo goes to the refrigerator. What are you gonna grab?
The salad dressing.
And the salad dressing to you is what? Trust me, that I swear to God, follow it through. Just play along with the exercise. You'll
I'm
get it.
trying.
You'll see. So you come back to the table. What's in your hand?
Salad dressing.
So for you, what is salad dressing?
Food. I don't know.
All right.
A condiment.
So I'll tell you what happened. I go to the refrigerator and I come back with Italian salad dressing. Because he didn't tell me what type, he didn't tell me what flavor.
Yeah.
And my mom, by this point in time, my mom really wouldn't defend me anymore. When I was younger and smaller, my mom would defend me. But at this point in time, she was them beat down in the fucking worthlessness. So he's like, that's not what I told you to get. I told you to go to the refrigerator and get me some salad dressing. So I go back and I'm thinking, well, maybe he wants French. And now, I'm scared. And because I know what's coming next. So I go and get the French dressing and I come back and he's like, that's not what I told you to get. And he smacks the shit out of me.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh,
What?
bro, we'll you know what? If you keep going down this path, we'll be here longer because I'll tell you something.
No,
about my daily life
this
in
has
school.
to be the last story. I gotta get off soon.
So
I gotta go food shopping.
I go back, right? And I go and I get the Hidden Valley Ranch dressing now. And I come back and he smacks the shit out of me again. And now I'm mad.
What's he playing? Why don't he just tell you what kind he wants? Is he like, what the fuck's wrong with him?
Texas thing. It's a Texas thing. So now I'm standing there and I got tears coming out of my eyes and I'm mad and I balled up my fist because now I'm ready to fight this motherfucker. Because I know I can't win. I know I'm not gonna really be able to do any damage, but I don't care because I've been getting beat for like the last 10 years of my life and nobody's doing anything to
You
help
had
me.
enough.
It's so bad that my school started realizing what was happening because I literally beat this dude with a stick until he wasn't moving. He was unconscious, and I was only in the fourth grade. So um I'm standing there at the table, and now my mom finally speaks up. She's like, John, he doesn't know what you mean, right? And so you're thinking, you know, then he starts snapping like, the fuck is wrong with you? Blah 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 blah. And my mom is like, go get the mayonnaise out of the refrigerator. I have no idea why fucking Texans call salad dressing mayonnaise other than
Are
you make
you
fucking.
what the
I
fuck?
swear to fucking God.
I never
So
heard of them. Do they still call it that?
I don't fucking know because I don't fuck with Texans.
Dude, I'm
So
not. I'm never wearing this shirt to work again.
yeah, so yeah.
The only
So,
reason
so
I
one more
have.
quick story. So when we lived in South Carolina, right? We lived right across the street from the Air Force Base there because when we lived in Goose Creek, like the abuse was so bad, and my mom just wanted to be able to work, and so we moved to this other place so she could get a job. And my mom specifically would work the 3 p.m. to closing shift, so she could just avoid my stepfather. So I was left at his mercy. So what would happen is every day when I would come home from school, to get into my house, you could either go through the front door, the kitchen door, or the sliding glass doors on the side of the house. So when I would come home, I would stop, and I had to be home by a certain time. After when once school was out, I think I had like 20 minutes to get home, or it was an automatic ass whooping.
Dude, what the
And
fuck?
yeah, and at that time I had no friends. I was antisocial. I was violent. Like you could be a kid and you could try and tease me, and you were gonna catch these hands and these feet and everything. You might catch a brick to the face. Like I had no chill button. Fourth
So
grade, no chill button.
you were
So
made to be like that, basically.
yeah, I was built like this, and I would get to what would be the equivalent of half a block from my house. So if you look down the street, you wouldn't see me yet because I was a small kid, and I would make sure I'd be like kind of ducked low by a car, and I would look to the driveway of our house and see if his car was there. And if his car was there, now I had a choice to make. I had to choose what door I was going to walk in the house to try and avoid him and have to figure out where he was at. Because just walking in the door from school might get the shit smacked out of me, or I might get sucker punched, or I might get, who knows what would happen. And then my mom's not there, there's nobody there to defend me. So, I'm on my own.
Yeah.
So that was literally my life for that last school year that I was there. And we left in the wintertime, and when my mom finally left, because like I said, I would try and figure out which door I was going to come into, and I would just pick, the sliding glass doors, because we lived in military housing, so it's a secure area, so it's not like you really had to lock your doors. And I would have to just I would try and come in the front door, and then because if I came in the front door, I could walk straight and like going off to the left would go into the living room. But if I made the hard right, I could go down the hallway and go straight to my room. So what would happen was after a while, he didn't like the fact that I was making the hard right. And he was like, why didn't you come in the kitchen door? That's the door that we mostly use because the kitchen door led to the carport. And
Yeah.
that's the door that we went in and out of to go to the car. We hardly ever use the front door. He's like, well, what are you trying to do? Avoid me, blah, 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 blah. And I would just get the shit smacked out of me. Because I would freeze up and not say anything. Because, nothing that I could say was ever going to be right or justify what I just did. And what I did was simply choose a door to come in the house.
That's nuts.
So, yeah,
Is he still alive?
I guess.
You haven't talked to him in a long time.
After we left, I never really wanted to talk to him again. But I guess he decided to try and live in the light and be a good person. And he wanted to apologize. My mom, being the fucking idiotic dumbass that she is, was like, oh, maybe you should talk to him. You know, he's changed because he went through. Here's the thing: if you ever seen the movie Color Purple,
A
after
long
everything he
time ago.
did to me and my mom, he ended up like uh, Danny Glover's character in Color Purple. Everything in his life turned to ash. He got kicked out of the military at 13 years in because he married a woman that he recruited as a Navy recruiter. So they busted him and kicked him out of the Army. He didn't get a pension. He didn't get anything. And, basically, I think he got other than honorable discharge. So when I left with an honorable discharge. So I was able to at least do things with the VA, go to college for free. Basically, his life went to shit. She left him, got child support, all this shit. Because when I say she
Damn.
was young, she was only like 18 or 19 when he got married and knocked her up. And it just, yeah. And
You believe it's karma, all that shit that happened to him?
yeah,
Hell.
it was karma. And like for a few years, I I just really hated this man. But then after a while, especially knowing everything that happened to him afterwards, after a while, I just always believed in whatever doesn't kill you, you need to learn from it and see how it changed you. And I just believe it made me that hard person because what I went through when I came back to Philadelphia wasn't much better than the situation I was in then because I came back. I was this kid. I didn't talk like I was from the hood. I didn't act like I was from the hood. I didn't fit in the hood. And I lived in the Strawberry Mansion section of the city. So I got bullied every fucking day, every day in school. And when I say the violence came out of me, so the first few times I just took it because that good part of me, that little boy that I murdered, was like, maybe if you be nice, these people be your friends. Maybe if you do this or say this, that's when I, was a kid and I was still trying to be a good person. And these little fucking hood pieces of shit kids would just try me all the time. And it just got to the point that like I almost got expelled from Strawberry Mansion, which used to be like one of the worst schools in the city, because like these little kids didn't get it. Even when I was in middle school, these little kids didn't get it. Like I just spent the last 10 years getting my ass beat by a grown man.
Yeah.
What do you think your little candy bar arms are gonna do to me? So when I say I started breaking these kids off, I still remember these motherfuckers' names, and we're talking about from middle school. I remember their names. I remember what I did to these kids. I remember,
Dude,
beating the one dude in the head with a chair and biting a chunk out of his chest, and then
you
having to
told
get
me
stitched.
that. You told me
That yeah,
that. That
and I
shit
don't
is
remember it
nuts.
that much from the day because when I like blackout rage, what they said that I did to the crowd, because you know how when you're in school and there's a fight and everybody crowds around,
Yeah, you
that
can't
was
see
that was
shit.
that wasn't the fight the crowd around that day because they're like once I got done destroying him. So when they're telling my mom, when they made my mom come up there because they were trying to expel me and the people's parents were trying to press charges against me. And this is before you had like Columbine and all the mass shootings, but they're like, yo, this dude's gonna kill somebody. So basically they said I started fighting my way through the crowd and just started hitting everybody. And like when I went home and I finally came out of the blood rage, like my hands were covered in blood. They were bruised. My knuckles were skinned, and I just had all these people's blood on me.
Oh my
Um,
god,
I
dude.
just, I was just beating everybody's ass, like slamming people's heads into the walls. Like I went straight up Wolverine berserker.
Yeah. When they told your mom, did she do you think she probably felt like, all right, this ain't really a surprise the way your stepdad
So
was to you?
So like all of that came out because remember what I was saying before we left South Carolina. That started coming out because I beat this kid with a stick. He was talking shit about me in class. So it was the end of the day. So right before the bell rang, I just looked at the clock, grabbed my book bag, got up and walked out the class. Went to the schoolyard, and on the other side of the schoolyard, like there's no fence around the school because, like I said, this was in military housing. There was like this little pine tree area where it's like maybe a few rows of pine tree, and then you come out and there's houses behind that, and there's a street, and all the kids would like walk through it, and there was this thick fallen stick. So I just picked the stick up, And I walked back to the door, and I calmly stood on the side of the door to the school from that entrance. And I waited, and the kids are coming out, and some kids noticed me. I didn't say anything because I didn't have any beef with them. Some kids tried to talk to me, and I ignored them. I'm just waiting for the kid that I'm waiting for. And as soon as he came out, I just hit him straight across the face with the stick.
Oh my god,
Kept
dude.
hitting him and hitting him,
Bro.
The best.
You're like that kid from Butterfly Effect.
That's what I was about to say. The best explain to you what I was like in school. I was literally that angry kid from Butterfly Effect, and we see everything he
in the part in the movie theater. Oh my god,
yeah.
dude.
So it got to a point that when I was young, and you gotta remember, like a lot of these kids had guns. Like the wildest shit I ever did was I went to this guy's house, right? I followed him home. This is one that the same people that used to always try and jump me, the same people I would always fight with. And I followed him home so I could find out where he lived. And I was like, okay, this is good. I'm going to catch you slipping. So then, and he lived up on 33rd, right off of Diamond by the reservoir. So now I walk up there, and I knock on the door, and his older brother comes to the door, and I'm like, is Marcus here? And he's like, yeah, hey, Marcus, blah, 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 blah. And he walks away, he's playing Nintendo or Super Nintendo or whatever in their living room with his cousin, right? And they're both in high school. And they're probably like freshmen or something. And Marcus comes to the door, and he sees me standing there, and his eyes get real big because he's confused because, this dude is the enemy. And so, like, I'm literally the ops at that point. So no words, no nothing. I just take this right hand and I load that shit up from North Carolina, and I put everything into it because in my mind, not only was I a violent child, I understood the consequences, and I had the will to hurt. And I knew that I was only going to get a certain amount of time before his older brother and his cousin came. And I'm putting everything into every punch to try and break this dude. And now his brother's coming, his cousin's coming, because they're shocked. They don't know what the fuck's going on. And now I'm backing up out of the house. Marcus, he's done for. He's no longer, a factor in this fight. And I'm
he's out.
Destroyed on
he's sleeping.
Trying to swing at these dudes and back up at the same time. Trying to run back to Diamond Street because I done did what I came to do. I gotta go get the next dude tomorrow, but first I gotta get past these dudes. And the thing about it is, when I say I had the will, so I ended up hanging out with these dudes that lived on my block because I used to live up 30th and Dolphin. I used to live at 3010 West Dolphin before the house got torn down. And I had these friends, and they were they grew up as criminals. Like all their older brothers were locked up in and out of jail. Their mom was into some shady loan shark and shit like that. And she basically introduced all her sons to crime. So my friends were basically drug dealers.
They weren't people you want to fuck with.
Right. So my friends were like, Dave, you want us to handle this? And because they would see me, because they had dropped out of school by this point. And they, I would have problems with people. And this is how angry and how much hate I had inside of me. I was like, no, I'm gonna get these motherfuckers myself. Period. And it was I never had it in my mind that I was gonna have them help me or fight my battles. And I'm fighting the same 4 dudes, and I don't give a fuck. The other dude, he lived down by the Johnson Home projects on this little side street, but not in the actual project. So I followed him home down Ridge Avenue one day. He didn't even know I was there. And I'm just following him home. And right when he goes up his little steps to his house and he puts his key in the door, I come from behind and hit this motherfucker in the back of his head and start ramming his head into the door and just start piling on him. And this, think about it, after school, so this is like 3:30, 4 o'clock.
How old were you?
Yeah, I was like 14.
Yeah, you were crazy.
I was going to jail, bro, because the thing is, I didn't care. I didn't really need friends. I was starting to go into that shell. And
I'm gonna try to break you, bro. I'm gonna try to break you.
Wait, but the next thing is, it wasn't like I was the instigator. You know, I was
Oh no, they were fucking with you. Yeah.
right. So I was always the quiet kid, and this is one of the things
You
that,
weren't a
like,
bully. You're saying
right,
you would
right,
just defend yourself when you had to.
right. Matter of fact, here's how it started. So because I always went through all the shit with my stepfather, I hated the ideas of bullies. And what happened was these four dudes were the bullies, and they were picking on this other kid all the time because I was new to the school. And one day, I got up from my desk in school while they were picking on this kid, and the teachers, they were fucking bitches. They didn't do shit to help anybody.
They don't give a
This
fuck.
is why
Yeah.
I don't. I'm gonna say this right now, because these teachers don't intervene or do enough, and because these parents are pieces of shit who think that they're little Bobbies and Johnnies and fucking
Tommies.
Kareems and Rafiqs and Sean's are like God's gift to the world, that that their kids can do no wrong. Between those two wrongs, you see all these kids where their lives turn into hell because nobody intervenes on their behalf. And this kid, this is before your time, but they used to have these no-name sneakers that they sold at Payless called Pro Wings. And this kid used to wear Pro Wings to school all the time. He was kind of goofy, like a positive guy. This is why I'm not a positive person, because positivity usually gets met with some type of problems. So he'd come to school with his new Pro Wings on, and they would tease him. And he'd be like, well, at least I got on new shoes. And then they would start picking on him, smacking him and shit like that. So one day I had enough, because I was the quiet kid that didn't talk. And on top of that, I was put in like accelerated learning because I was pretty smart in school. Like if I would have been better at math, I could have been a straight A student. If I wouldn't have got suspended so much, I would have been an honor roll student every year. So I stand up in the middle of class and I literally make this declaration. I'm like, listen, stop picking on them. If you want to pick on somebody, you can try picking on me. And it was almost like before you even had How I Met Your Mother, it was almost like you could see it in their eyes. Challenge accepted. So and I wish I would have remembered this kid.
So that's basically why they were fucking with you.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna name all four of them right now, and I hope they're dead. If they're not, they could come. We could come run it back. And I swear to God, 30 years
doubt
later,
if you guys are watching,
we can run it back. If you're watching, your names was Lamar Clayton.
He's nuts.
Your name was Amin James. Your name was Marcus Buxdell. And your name was Latari. I don't remember what your goofy ass name is. I don't know why your mom was stupid enough to name you Latari, because I don't know what the fuck was she, an Atari fan? But listen,
she likes classic games.
And trust me, I picked up more skills in the meantime, and we can run it back. We can run it all the way back. And listen, all four of you can come, because all four of you like to come back then. All four of you can come now and catch all of these hands. The smoke, I would like all of them.
You said that right when I was blowing the smoke out.
And I bet you're still punks right now. And I don't even have friends that's going to go hard like that now. You lucky I didn't have my friends then bang your fucking chest out.
I'm your friend. I don't know if I'm going to go hard like that.
So
I might be home. Just let me know if they show up.
No, I don't care. There's been times I put my address out there online and told.
Yo, can you imagine if they actually commented in the video and said, "Yep," and it was really them? I
hope somebody knows them. Because listen, here's what I'm gonna tell you.
We gotta end this, dude. All right, this is the last thing.
Yeah, this is the last thing. We're gonna end it on this. Anybody who thinks that they're gonna do some wild shit. Anybody, and this is, you think you can do anything wild to anybody you want. I want you to remember that Pennsylvania is a castle defense state, which means once you're in your home, as long as you don't take it outside, if someone comes in your home and you bang 10 slugs in them, that's what happens to them. That's self-defense, because you can't go into somebody's home and then get murdered and then think that they're going to be in trouble. The state of Pennsylvania doesn't require you to retreat from your own home. So if you decide that you need to use deadly force because someone's broken into your home, someone's trying to harm you in your home, it is what it is.
Free game.
Bring it on.
Freak. I don't advise it, guys. Do not do it.
Listen, YOLO. You only live once.
YOLO. I like Drake from Degrassi.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll let you go and live your life and go shopping, and yeah, we'll end it on that. But yeah,
All right. Yo, I'm taking your advice. I'm going to Walmart. You said they're cheaper, so that's where I'm going.
Yeah, all right, bro. Well, good luck. You and the lady have a great day, and see ya.
All right, thanks. Yo, I had a lot of fun. Thanks. It was fun. I'll send you the
All right,
link
bro.
when I upload it. All right.
All
All
right,
right,
we'll do it
guys.
again. Peace.
Definitely. Peace. All right, guys. That was the podcast. Dave from work. A long podcast, but a good one. I hope you guys liked it. Please subscribe. And, man, that was a lot. Dave. Bro, your stories, I get why you're such an angry person, but there's still a glimmer of hope in you. I don't want to use the word hope, but there's still love in you. I could see that because I see you talk sometimes, the way we talk. There's a heart in there. I'm telling you, bro. You might not be able to see it anymore, but I can. And I appreciate you coming. Coming to the podcast. I appreciate you coming. Anyway, don't wear your Texas shirt in front of Dave. And that's it, man. Had a lot of fun. I think it might be my favorite episode ever.